What's down, fam? It's your boy Slim Soft 504. Make sure y'all subscribe to Hooded Juve. You heard me? Let's go.
What's up, folks? This is Shoshano Barnes, and you already know this shit more than a game, man. You also already know that it's Nola versus all y'all. And you also know that it ain't YouTube if you ain't subscribed to my dog, Hooded Juve. Come on, man, what are you waiting for? You already know. It's still Who Dat.
What up, family? This your boy DeRight, repping that Who Dat Nation all the way here in Florida. If it's YouTube, you gotta subscribe to my boy Hoodie Juve.
What's up, world? It's your boy Carlos Clayton. I'm the host of Uneducated Sports Talk. Subscribe to the big homie Hoodie Juve for everything New Orleans Saints. Who Dat?
Hey, this your boy, Dog 17, the host of the Keeping It Real Who Dat Sports Podcast. Just want to remind y'all, go ahead and subscribe to my homie Hoodie Juve's channel. And like always, love.
What's good, guys? My name is Zach.
And I'm Nonfiction, and we are Real Fan Sports.
And you need to stop what you're doing right now. Hit that subscribe button and subscribe to your boy, Hoodie Juve.
Hoodie Juve.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Hoodie, and we're about to recap this whole dang draft. So come on, everybody, grab your drink, grab your snack, get back, and let's talk some Saints football, baby.
Yeah, we in the zone, watch the Saints rise, Kellen Moore's game plan, yes, no surprise, Rashid Shaheed flying, catching that light, Chris Lawrence magic making defenses right, Hoodie Juve on the screen, we hype it up, Saints Nation stand tall, never gonna give up, Saints on a mission, watch them take flight, in the dome under lights, it's a beautiful night, championship dreams, we're ready to score. With Hoodie Juve and the crew, we're wanting more. Demario Davis bringing a tackle heat. Cam Jordan rushing, can't escape defeat. Tyrann Mathieu lurking, he's a defensive ghost. New era in New Orleans, yeah, we want it the most. Touchdowns on the board, the crowd goes wild. Feel the energy surge like a hyped up child. Saints on a mission, watch them take flight. In the dome under lights, it's a beautiful night. Championship dreams, we're ready to score. With Hoodie Juve and the crew, we're wanting more. Let the victory blow. Back coast, we pop with the city.
What's up, Who Dat Nation? It's your boy Hoodie Juve, and we back with another live podcast. And come on, y'all already know the saying. There ain't no damn YouTube without your boy Hoodie Juve, y'all. Hey man, Who Dat Nation? I'm ready to discuss this draft. Ready to cover the whole draft and talk about all players that we drafted. And we can probably talk a little bit about the undrafted free agent as well, which we barely signed anybody as well. So we'll see what route we go. But shout out to everybody that's in the chat. So let me give a shout out to y'all who's in here already. I see my brother Elite Goods. Who dat to ya? I see Jerry the old freaking G in the building. Who dat to ya? We got my guy Booker in the chat. Who dat to ya? We got my guy Trav04. Who dat to ya? We got Slim South, a.k.a. T.I. You can have whatever you like. Yeah. Welcome to the chat, brother. We got Brooke in the building. Who that? How are we feeling after that draft? I don't know. Kind of good, kind of not good. I don't know. Iffy. I don't know. We're about to discuss it though. And by the way, we do have a special guest on the show again. Like I told you, you might know this person by a few things. You ready? You might know him off of the X, aka Twitter, by the name of Soul Man. Or you might just know him because he's just a damn sports reporter. Just that. And his name is Logan.
What's going on?
What up?
Thanks for having me back on. It seems like I've been on here more than anyone else's show, so I really appreciate it.
Yeah. No problem, man. Like I said, anytime we go live, you're welcome to come on, come talk your stuff because we definitely need some people in here with a little bit more insight, on that, because I don't get no insight at all besides just from Nick Underhill and Ross Jackson. That's all I get, so I get to hear some stuff from them. But let me ask you this. What was your start on the draft? The whole draft. I know night 1 and night 2 kind of shook us up a little bit. But other than that, it seemed like, today was like a better day than the last 2. So what you think?
So overall, I liked, even Kelvin Banks in the first round, all in all, I think it's a pretty good draft. The only pick that I don't like is Tyler Shough so far, but they've hit on every single position of need except for wide receiver. But all in all, I think this was probably, probably a B-plus draft as it stands right now. It could be an A-plus if, Tyler Shough actually works out, some type of magical thing happens and he's the starter and he throws for 4,000 yards in the season. Don't see that happening, but right now as it stands on paper, B plus type of draft.
Okay, I like it. So I guess let's start off, man. We'll go down the line with the first pick. The Saints went with who? We sound like the damn New Day from WWE. Who? We went with offensive tackle Kevin Banks Jr. What is y'all start on Mr. Kevin Banks Jr. in the chat? Let us know. And Logan, what is your start on picking him with the 9th overall pick?
So, of course, we probably should have, if you want to quote unquote say reach for anybody, I would have said Jackson Dart, but Kelvin Banks does fill a need. You don't sign Trevor Pendon to his 5th-year option, which he can still be back on the team next year. Maybe you can move Kelvin Banks Jr. to left guard because we need that, but that's to be determined. And I don't mind the pick because now you have Fuaga and Kelvin Banks, and we don't know. Maybe they move Pendon to his 3rd position in 3 years, which I would think is just downright ludicrous. But all in all, I don't mind the pick after sleeping on it. Kelvin Banks, I think, is going to be solid. Now you have 2. Maybe you're going to get the reincarnated version of, Teron Armstead and Ryan Ramczyk at your tackles. That'd be great. Even Jerron Bushrod and Stinchcomb or Streif, that'd be even just as great. But, looking at him and his measurables, my player comp for him, if you watch the Buffalo Bills, they have a tackle by the name of Dion Dawkins, and he just is a mauler. If you look at the run game, especially the run game, Dion Dawkins is a really good run blocker, and even a run blocker too. I think that's a perfect comp for Kelvin Banks. They both are kind of similar in height, similar in stature, and I think Kelvin is more suited for, run blocker, and he still has to work on his pass blocking, in my opinion, but I think he's going to do... I actually like the pick after sleeping on it, so I think it's going to work out well.
Gotcha. So, we might, like you said, found the next Teron Armstead and Ryan Ramczyk duo. That would be amazing because whoever the heck is going to be the quarterback definitely needs to be protected. And definitely, hopefully, we will get some weapons soon, too, because, no receiver in this draft or undrafted free agents. I don't think we signed one either. So we'll see what we do from there. But, with the second pick at pick 40 that almost every damn Saints fan hated, and everybody knows it. Let me just draw it up here. Who do we take? Damn quarterback Tyler Shough from damn Louisville. Oh my gosh. Tell me about him, Logan.
So, to kind of repeat myself, from the other day, Tyler Shugg was a 7th-year senior. He's going to be a 26-year-old rookie when Week 1 rolls around in September. Spencer Rattler's going to be 25. They have the same birthday, oddly enough, but Spencer Rattler turns 25, and he turns 26 that day. And each year in college, Tyler Shugg was hurt except for his final year of college. He threw a pass to Juwan Johnson when he was in college. They were roommates at Oregon. And Tyler Shugg was also a backup to Justin Herbert, and Justin Herbert's been in the league for 5-6 years now. My opinion is this: they should have taken Shedeur Sanders, regardless of what their thoughts was on his personality. I think this is a Kellen Moore pick, 100%. I'm thinking he sees maybe similar traits in Tyler Shugg that he had in each of the 3 quarterbacks that he had before. And I know I got on here and I compared him to Derek Carr, but after doing my extensive research, there's a ceiling and there's a floor. The ceiling, I'll just say the floor first. The floor for him is Josh McCown. And Josh McCown was a journeyman quarterback in the league for many, many years. Wasn't the worst, but wasn't the greatest. He was serviceable, especially during his Cardinals tenure. But I think the floor for Tyler Shugg is Nick Foles. I know everyone's going to get on here and say, but Nick Foles has a Super Bowl. Nick Foles was very inconsistent during his career. When he was on, he was on. They both have similar measurables, similar play styles. Nick Foles, Tyler Shugg isn't a statue. He has sneaky athleticism, but, he's not the most accurate quarterback. He's not going to impress you with his accuracy at all. He's not Drew Brees, and he's not Shedeur Sanders. So, do I love the pick? No. But, sleeping on all of these picks, do I absolutely hate it anymore? At this point, I don't. Do I think he's going to be the starter? I think Spencer Rattler's going to give him a run for his money, but my ceiling for him is Nick Foles. And if he's Nick Foles, then I guess that'll be okay. That's decent enough. So
I feel you on that one, man. So I was the same way, just didn't really care for him, hoping that we can get Sanders. I'm like, damn, Sanders still fell to us. And shockingly, this dude fell all the way to the 5th round. That was kind of insane, but kind of similar to Rattler, right? Rattler was supposed to be a 1st-round pick one year. He kind of dropped off through college, and they said, okay, he'll probably be a 2nd round, not a 1st round. Dude fell all the way to the 5th round. Saints took an opportunity on him as well. But the number one thing I would say, the Sanders pick was kind of crazy that they went and took Gabriel with the 3rd pick with the Browns, and then they went and got back and took Sanders again anyway. So they took 2 running backs, 2 quarterbacks. I guess they're just trying to get their whole offense together because they don't know what's going to happen in Cleveland. So they said, screw it, we're just going to draft 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, a few players of each. So that kind of drew me off guard. I ain't going to lie to you.
Absolutely. Jimmy Haslam, shout out Andrew Berry, and shout out Kevin Stefanski for taking a chance on Shedeur Sanders. I shouldn't even have to say taking a chance on someone who threw for over 4,000 yards, 37 touchdowns, and completed 74% of his passes in college, and is the most accurate quarterback in NFL history. So shout out to all 3 of those gentlemen there. And maybe this is going to be a bold take, and it's going to sound like I'm just biased for Shedeur Sanders, but I think Shedeur is going to wind up being the Cleveland Browns starter at some point this year. I don't think Deshaun Watson's going to be there much longer at all. Joe Flacco is about to hit the retirement line because he's, I think, 41. And Shedeur is better than Kenny Pickett by a country mile. And Dylan Gabriel is going to be a serviceable backup. So I think Shedeur Sanders, you will see him start sooner than later. So shout out Kevin Stefanski, Andrew Berry, and Jimmy Haslam for letting the slide finally end in a charade end too. So that's that.
I got you. So, 3rd round, all right?
Yes.
What do we start off with? D tackle from Texas, man. And the crazy thing is I didn't really hear too much about this guy. I know most of the people that I heard of, when you hear D tackle, especially from Texas, you hear a guy like Murphy and them, that played with was coached under Bo Davis and all that, and I never even heard of this guy's name, and like you said, you didn't really know it until you kind of searched it up a little bit. And what did you told me the other night when we drafted this guy? Didn't you say this is probably a Bo Davis kind of guy? Well, they came out with the film today, and they showed you the behind the scenes of when they called the man. Bo Davis was the first one to call him and tell him what's up, and they said, "Hey, please don't disappoint me. Please don't let me down." He said, "We're taking you."
He's definitely a Bo Davis guy. I mean, he just had to be. And when you turn on the film doesn't lie. I mean, he was very productive. I mean, would I have taken him in round 3? Probably not. You probably could have got him probably day 3, which was today. But I think he might be a gem. Bo Davis knows more about defensive line than any of us put together. And I think, honestly, if we was talking about college football, if Bo Davis was still in the college ranks, I would say he's the best defensive line coach in the country. And I would even argue, even in NFL, I think he's probably top 5 defensive line coach in the entire league. Wherever Bo Davis has gone, the defensive line is just ridiculously great. All the defensive linemen at Texas got drafted that he coached, and Vernon was another one, and I think it's going to be a sneaky good pick. And just like I mentioned on the show the other day, you have Brian Brzee, who is the pass rusher, and now you have Vernon Broughton, who is the run stuffer. Got the best of both worlds. And I mean, I think with Bo Davis coaching him up in New Orleans, both him and Brzee, I think it's going to be a vast improvement on the defensive line. And one comp that I had for him that I mentioned, I think yesterday, was Michael Brockers, who once upon a time played for LSU and played alongside Aaron Donald. Both of them similar. I go off of measurables and I go off of tape, and whatever name pops in my head first, I go with that, because usually my intuition on player comps is usually correct. And for years, I was a huge fan of Michael Brockers. I mean, in college, I mean, he was unstoppable. I mean, on the LSU defensive line, and then when he got the Los Angeles Rams playing next to Aaron Donald, I mean, it's easy when you have the 3rd greatest player or even 2nd greatest defensive player of all time next to you. But I think Vernon Broughton, if he can be a Michael Brockers for the Saints on the defensive line, then the Saints got a really underrated pick in the 3rd round.
I kind of like the comparison, and especially like you said, he's kind of like your run stuffer, big guy. You already got your pass rusher in Brzee. The cool thing, I think, like you said, about bringing one of the best, defensive lineman coach out of college, and Bo Davis back into the league. I think a cool thing about having him is the other guy, Galchuk, that we got from the Patriots. I think I think he's gonna help out too, because he's already a good run stuffer, especially in the defense that they used to run in New England. So now that they have the same type of defense he ran there, that's why he wanted to come here, because he can stay in his defensive playbook that he wants to be in. So that's gonna be another player that I'll say that gets a lot of playing time, and that's going to be your next big run stuffer as well. Yeah, he's getting a little bit older, but he's still a dog, because maybe he might be the next Campbell, just plays to 40-something if he feels like it, just because he's a big guy and all he's got to do is sit there and tackle you and close the gap, So I like it. I like this pick, but like you said, maybe it was a little reach, just like the Tyler pick. That was a little of a reach. But not a little reach. That was highly big of a reach. But we're gonna get over it. We're gonna visibly get over it. And I know us Saints fans, we all tough and mad because there was a lot of good players that we passed up on. So it is what it is. But after that pick, we had another pick in the 3rd round, and who do we go with? Jonas Senker. What do you think of him?
I really love this pick very much. And the theme that I've seen with the rest of the picks that we're going to discuss is the Saints last year, I believe, were top 3 in the league for being one of the worst tackling teams in the NFL. And you're not going to have that problem with Jonas Senker. He could play box safety, strong safety, and if you want to throw him at free, go right ahead. Jonas Senker, I think, is actually more suited to be a strong safety. He reminds me of both Jimmy Ward, but also mostly Kenny Vaccaro. who many Saints fans remember how good he was in that Rob Ryan defense many years ago when we ran the 3-4. Jonas Sinker had, I believe, almost 100 total tackles in the season for Virginia. Tackling in open space, and if you turn on the film, you see him pick up people and throw them to the ground. You want that. I mean, tackling these days is more like when I watch the game these days, it disappoints me that people don't wrap up and tackle. It's just everyone just going straight, you know, hitting and tackling high, and that disappoints me as a former athlete myself. So, but with Jonas Sinker, you won't have that problem. He will tackle you. He's not afraid of contact. I can say that. So, great pick. And I mean, and another comp that had for him was Jimmy Ward, who plays for the 49ers currently. So, you can put him at either of the safety position, and if you want to blitz him off the edge, just as good because he is incredibly fast in open space.
Okay, I like it. I like it. You know why? What the Saints did last year just did not care about tackling, and that is the one thing that we needed help with, right? Was tackling, and that is crazy. You know, that you kind of pointed that out, and it's definitely true. It seems like a lot of people in the NFL don't care about wrapping up anymore, unless it's like the veterans, you know, like a Demario Davis or somebody, you know, that's just a veteran player. But it seems like nowadays the younger generation just comes in and says, "Let me see if I can hit you with the hardest hit to where I get a highlight play, and somebody's gonna want to talk about me all day," instead of just playing the game of football the right way and just tackling the dude, because that's the point of it, not just to hit him hard and try to, you know, not tackling. You're just trying to hit him hard and hopefully he goes down. And like you said, that's a good point. Hopefully, picking him will bring some more, I guess you can say, less bigger plays on the field. You know, people breaking tackles on us. Hopefully that, you know, knocks that down a little bit. And with that pick, I think it was a great one. Like you said, I like the comparison with the Kenny Vaccaro. You know, he used to be great with us as well. So I like the comparison. But not only did we pick him up, that, you know, we said that can help us with the defense side, especially the tackling. There's somebody else that you was saying that he's really good when we drafted him, and that was, you know, today, day 3, in round 4. Who do we go and pick? Dun, 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 dun. Linebacker Danny Stutsman, man. So what do you think about him out of Oklahoma?
My goodness, Hoodie, what can I say about Danny Stutsman? I mean, I didn't think we was actually going to draft Danny Stutsman. I mean, I always had him on my boards. I always wanted to mock him to us, but I always thought, you know what? I doubt they go after him. But lo and behold, the only coach that he met with during, like, you know, meetings, I believe, was Peter Sermon, our new linebackers coach, who came from Cal Berkeley. He was the defensive coordinator at Cal Berkeley last year. And Danny Stutsman, just like Jonas Sinker, tackling machine. If you go turn on that Alabama-Oklahoma game, he absolutely stuffed Jalen Milroe. And Jalen Milroe, even though I have my quarrels with him as a quarterback, Jalen Milroe in open spaces, especially going through the gap, is hard to tackle because he's on the bigger side for like 225, 220-ish. Danny Stutsman absolutely stuffed him in the A-gap. If anyone remembers James Laurinaitis, that's my comp for Danny Stutsman. Both were tackling machines. What you're getting at Danny Stutsman, you are getting a true inside linebacker in this 3-4 scheme to play next to Demario Davis. And he's also going to be the future once Demario Davis is retired. I love the pick so much. He's actually not bad when dropping in the zone coverage. I think I'd love the Danny Stutsman pick. And getting him and Jonas Sinker, some of the top tacklers in the country, I believe Jeff Novak said, if you combine both Stutzman's tackles and Sinker's tackles together, it's about 484 total, I believe. I might be exaggerating, but you're getting your defensive tackling. The last 2 picks, especially Danny Stutsman, tackling, and you're getting a stud of a linebacker. And as Danny Stutsman said about himself, he's the cracker with the juice, just like a communion. So, absolutely love this pick. And as a former linebacker myself, I am over the moon. When I seen the name come across the ticker on ESPN, was over the moon. I still am over the moon. So I love this pick.
I like it too. I ain't gonna lie to you, especially my favorite part was when they were showing videos, and here they were showing like how he brings the juice and the crackers, you know, and he was his, you know, like his little thing. And then I think that my favorite thing though of him when I heard him was, I feel like he had a saying and he had a speech, and he's gonna be one of these guys that's gonna come to the city, that's gonna adapt to the city, that's gonna fall in love with the city's gonna fall in love with him. It's because I don't know if you saw the little video of him where
I did.
he was standing up there in front of the whole team talking, you know, at the facility, talking with all 18 guys that was on there that was basically, you know, needing a scholarship there. And he's sitting there and he, you know, he's getting paid, you know, with a NIL, and he literally was up there telling them that, you know, he respects all of them for their hard work. Without them, you know, there wouldn't be no team, you know. And he loves, you know, that, you know, he wanted to take care of them and all. So he donated $50,000, you know, to those players to where it helps towards their scholarship. And that's what you call a real dude, a real, you know, brother in the house. So to bring a guy like that into the building, especially with a guy like DeMario getting older, that's only just gonna, like you said, just replace him and just gonna be able to actually keep that, you know, DeMario going. Because DeMario is one of those people that likes to donate, take care of the city, you know, take care of people, take care of his, you know, brothers and all that in the building. So just to bring a guy like that in here, especially like we know, like we always said, who the heck's gonna be his replacement? Well, good thing. I think we found us his replacement, you know, in him. So I can't wait to see him play, and with him and Sanker, like you said, two bona fide tacklers, and that's what the Saints needed because last year, like we said, we were just not tackling at all. So I'm ready to see what these two young
And the
brothers
crazy
bring.
thing is, at one point when Harold Perkins was healthy, there was a debate going on during college football season. Who's the best linebacker in the country? Is it Harold Perkins or Denny Stutzman? So I'm over the moon right now. So because I mean, I love both Harold Perkins and Denny Stutzman, but it's just I really think it's a great pick. Probably it might be my favorite. Well, one of the top pick that my favorite pick of the draft. Actually, it is my favorite pick of the draft. It really is.
Yeah.
It's probably the linebacker bias than me talking, but I love the pick so much.
See, I'm not gonna lie to you. I figured that would be like one of your favorite picks because, like you said, you used to play linebacker as well. But I feel like not this pick, but the next pick after the next guy, I think it's gonna be one of our favorite picks. And I know you're gonna be able to tell us why as well. But you know, after we got Mr. Danny Man, Mr. Juice Man, they went and got another guy that I heard brings a lot of juice to him too when he plays, and that is no other than cornerback Quincy Riley out of Louisville. What you think about him, and you know, what do you think he brings to the table?
So I think it's a good pick. I'm not going to sit here and say he's going to be elite. I think he's going to be very serviceable, and I think you're going to see him eventually be like the opposite starter next to Kool-Aid McKinstry, and he's not. He still has a lot of improvement. Now, he was a 6-year senior out of Louisville. Apparently, Louisville must have been the senior citizen house this year because not only did we get a 7th-year senior from them, we got a 6-year senior from Louisville too. But you know, Quincy Riley, good zone cover corner. He has to improve on his man-to-man, but he's not going to overly impress you with his speed, but he's got good coverage skills, and he can only improve from here. He's not tall, but no DB really is super tall other than, Richard Sherman. But Quincy Riley is going to be he's going to be good for us for a long time. How long? I don't know, but we got Kool-Aid McKinstry some help in that secondary, and even Alante Taylor. Now, my comp for him, I mean, I know this isn't going to be the sexiest comp for Quincy Riley, but Levi Wallace, who played for the Pittsburgh Steelers and also the Buffalo Bills, he currently plays for now. Levi Wallace, just like Quincy Riley, a very good corner, but not a great. Now, can Quincy Riley be a great one and be locked up? Absolutely. I believe that he can be. So, you needed a corner, and you went out and got one. This was actually one of the corners, or if not the only cornerback that they brought in on a top 30 visit for during the draft process. So, I'm not surprised that they drafted him. So, I think it's going to be a good pick. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's a ball hawking corner. I have to go review. I think it's going to be a good pick. Him and Kool-Aid McKinstry being the young cornerback duos, I think, is going to set us up for long-term success. The youth movement is finally here.
Definitely. I mean, a lot of young players, building around. I mean, if you think about it, Chase Young ain't too old. He's been in the league for a little bit, but he's not old, so he's still young. You got the youngster in Brees. You got a young guy that you just brought in, from Texas. You got a young guy in Kool-Aid McKinstry, a young guy in Alante Taylor. You just got Rico Payton, who I think Rico Payton might give Quincy Riley a run for his money too for that spot because he did really good last year when everybody was out. So you got those four already, and then you think about young guy that we got, like you said, Sinker, who's going to help out with the veterans guys like Justin Reed and, Tyrann Matthews. You still got a young guy in Jordan Howden, You go back to your linebackers, right? Pete Warner's still a young guy playing next to Tamario. And then you got Danny, right? Mr. Juice Man in there. So it sounds like we're going to have a lot of young players. And Carl Granderson, I don't feel like Carl Granderson's that old either. So, yeah, Saints are definitely getting a lot younger, which is a really good thing. And I'm ready to see some of these young boys play because I don't know if you realize that when some people get those defensive players and they're a little bit older, they're not as fast and good like they are with these young guys who are just, fast and, fresh and ready to go. So, next pick, which I thought everybody would have said it would have been everybody's favorite pick probably out of the draft because supposedly with the way he fell all the way, to the sixth round, they said this guy should have been off the board, and they said they think he is the steal of the draft for the Saints, and that is no other than who? Running back Devin Neal. What do you think of Devin Neal, Logan, and what kind of, I guess running back are we getting, to play aside Kamara and him?
A very, very durable running back, and you can only say that is refreshing because Kendre Miller's been at Oshner more than he's been at the field. And I thought Kendre Miller would have been great, but Devin Neal has played in 49 out of the 50 games that he was in his college career. I mean, I absolutely am thrilled with this pick because you need a running back. You only have Alvin Kamara. Out after Alvin Kamara, you have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who I love, by the way. Then you have Kendre Miller and Jordan Mims. You need a true number 2 running back, and Devin Neal brings you just that. I mean, he's not the biggest back, but he's also not the smallest. He's got some weight on him. He's not going to be a burner. He doesn't have 4.2 speed, but if he gets out in open space, he's gone. And the one thing I can highlight is that Colorado game when Kansas and Colorado played at Arrowhead this past season. That's when I put Devin Neal's name on my draft board. I wrote it down, and he is just tremendous. When he fell that far, I was surprised because on my God, I actually have him graded as a 3rd round pick. A 3rd round pick or even an early 4th round pick. And people are going to call me crazy for my pro comp for Devin Neal, but hear me out. It's Jamaal Charles. Jamaal Charles wasn't the biggest. He wasn't the smallest, but he was just so great. I absolutely loved Jamaal Charles back in the day on those Chiefs teams when they had Matt Castle and doing the pistol formation. So Devin Neal, I think, he's going to make this 53, and he might be a good mix of balance, between that boom and zoom that you are looking for. And we don't know how much longer Kamara's got. I mean, maybe Kamara plays until he's 35 as well, because everyone's playing until they're 35, 40 these days. So I really love this. Outside of Danny Stutzman, this is probably my 2nd favorite pick in the entire draft. When he fell that far, I mean, I'm sure you saw me tweeting out, I wanted Devin Neal or Raheem Sanders, who went undrafted. So this is a really good pick, an underrated pick. The way him falling to us in the 6th round, unbelievable. I mean, he's a 3rd round pick you got in the 6th. So people should be absolutely floored that we got Devin Neal. I cannot wait to see this man touch the football field for the Saints this season.
Oh, yes. And I was watching some of the little highlights that people were posting about him. And god dang, I'm not going to lie to you, he makes a lot of people miss in open space.
Oh, yes.
He got that little shiftiness in him. Like you said, he's not the fastest, but he just got that shiftiness in on, just to fool you. And I'm not gonna lie to you, this is how I really do feel. If and only if Kendre Miller can stay healthy, goddamn, do the Saints have them a three-headed monster back there for the first time in a long time. Because Kendre Miller shows you every time he's on the field, he can play the damn game and he can be a really elite running back. But then he shows you he can't be that elite running back because he can't stay healthy. So I think if Kendre Miller does stay healthy this year, and you bring in a guy like, Neal, and you put him, Miller, and Kamara together, that's a three-headed monster right there that you just won't be able to, stop. You feel like you down. Okay, Kamara's off the field. Good. We got a break. No, you don't, because now you got Miller on the field. Oh, Miller came off the field. We got a break. Good. No, Neal's on the field now. You know what I'm saying? And then just imagine if the Saints do stick with Taysom Hill still and keep him, and he does become back, mid through the season, and he's ready to play again. Then you got to deal with Taysom Hill. You got so many, running, ability players on this team, and I'm just ready to see what Neal brings to the table, but also if Kendre can stay healthy, because I'm ready to see that three-headed monster. That's what I'm really ready for.
The one thing I can say about Kendre Miller is he's going to probably be looking in his rearview mirror, because this undrafted free agent that they picked up, we could talk about it later in the show, we could talk about it now, that they picked up. Let me just say this. I had a 5th-round grade on him, and he went undrafted. He reminds me of a taller version of Darren Sproles, and he also reminds me of Marlon Mack. And I seen him at the Senior Bowl. He has tremendous speed. He's one of those running backs that catches it in open space. Like, this is a pass catching running back. Kendre Miller, he's gonna be looking in his rearview mirror. If it was up to, as of right now, I would not pencil in Kendre Miller on a 53 if this undrafted free agent that we can discuss later on absolutely lives up to his potential that I seen him do in college and then at the Senior Bowl.
Can't wait to see. I mean, only time tells when we get to training camp and all, right? So we'll see how everything goes with these. But like I said, I feel like we got us some running backs now again. We finally got us some players to help out Kamara. Now, we went to the 7th round and drafted 2 more players, right? This is the first player. I'm not even going to attempt to say his name because his name is so damn weird looking, spelled weird. All I got to say is he is the tight end out of UCLA. And if Logan knows how to pronounce it, let him pronounce it, because your boy Jube ain't even taking a shot at it.
Tight end Moliki Motavo out of UCLA.
Moliki Motavo.
Now, he didn't have the greatest quarterback when he was at UCLA, but the one thing I can say that's a plus, he did play 2 years ago in an NFL kind of style offense when Eric Bieniemy was the offensive coordinator at UCLA once upon a time. He's now the running backs coach for Ben Johnson in Chicago. But Moliki Motavo, 6'6", 270 pounds. You get you a tight end with some height on him and with some weight on him. He's got sneaky speed. He really, really does. And the one thing I can say is Foster Moreau's probably gone. I don't think Foster is going to make the 53 with Moliki Motavo coming in, unless, Moliki and Dallin Holker are just absolutely just not great at football or tight end, but I don't think that's the case. I think Moliki is going to come in and maybe take a tight end 3 spot, and I think Holker's going to take the tight end 2 spot, and unbelievably, I think Jawan's going to be our starting tight end this year. I've heard Kellen really likes Jawan Johnson. That's why they signed him back. Now, Moliki Motavo, he's not going to get a sexy comp either, but the comp I have for him is Cameron Brate, who used to play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Cameron Brate and Moliki Motavo are just, they both got that height. They're not going to, he needs to improve on his run blocking. He's got the pass catching ability, but just like with a lot of young tight ends coming out of college, coming from similar style, maybe pro style, like Eric Bieniemy type of offenses, has to work on run blocking. Can he and will he? I believe he will. We have a good coaching staff on paper, from what I am seeing on paper. But on paper, it doesn't matter until the bullets are flying live. That's the only thing that matters. So I think this could be a good pick. I mean, I actually was hoping that we would take either him. I was hoping we would either take, Lacey from Iowa or, Colliers from Texas Tech. But Maliki Matavo, I am very much okay with this pick. I mean, he's got the size. 6'6", 270. Could be a good red zone target.
Well, like you said, height,
You
to
can't
be
teach
honest with you,
6'6".
yeah, you can't teach it, and then you got to think of it. I mean, how tall is Jawan? 6'3" or 6'4"? Like, he's not even the biggest tight end, is he? Jawan?
Yeah.
Because you remember he originally was like a
6'4".
receiver.
Yeah, Jawan Johnson's 6'4". I'm sorry.
6'4", yeah. So 6'4" tight
I'm
end.
always reading something so I can stay in tune and tell you on the show just in case. But yeah, Jawan Johnson 6'4". I mean, for tight ends these days, you don't want a Delaney Walker type of tight end. Even though I love Delaney Walker, but 6'1" at a tight end ain't going to win you anything. But 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", and up, that's a tight end size. I mean, and what you're getting at with Maliki Matavo, you're getting 6'6", 270. You can't teach that height and size. I mean, hopefully he uses it to his advantage when he gets down there and he hones in on it. So, I think this could be a really good pick.
I'm ready to see. Let's see if he does. But that's a good thing to hear though about Jawan Johnson, because this is just coming from me. A lot of Saints fans, I feel like, don't give him enough credit. But you got to realize Jawan Johnson's not the worst. He just ain't had the quarterback that can throw to him, because you got to realize he's originally a receiver. You move him to tight end because, he's a big guy. He's a big body. And the crazy thing is he's got the speed of a receiver if you need him to. So he just needs the quarterback that can hit him on stride. And some of the plays that I seen him make last year, with Spencer Rattler drawing into him, was insane. So I think he's going to do a lot better in this offense with a Kellen Moore. And like you said, Kellen Moore liking him and actually having him as, number one. Maybe we finally see what we thought, Jawan Johnson could be when he got switched to that tight end. We all thought he might take a leap and become like a top, 10, top 15, but he's just been like in the 20s, that he's been okay. So maybe Kellen Moore brings him to that next level with this offense that he's going to put him in. And maybe we'll finally see Jawan Johnson get more than 500 receiving yards as a tight end. And I think it's coming for him this year. Especially with a guy named Tyler Sher at quarterback.
Oh, my goodness. I think you're going to see an improvement from Jawan Johnson. I mean, I believe he was our leading receiver this past season, which if Jawan, and it's no offense to Jawan Johnson, but, I mean, if your leading receiver is Jawan Johnson when you have Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, and others, then you have a problem that you need to be fixed. It's not like, he's Jimmy Graham and he's leading the league in receiving. That's a total different thing. If Jawan Johnson's your leader receiver on your team, when you have, like I said, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, you have bigger issues to fix.
Yeah. Now, let's get to the last guy of the draft. The last Saints pick. And that is who? The edge rusher out of who? Syracuse. I don't know how to say his first name, but I know his last name is Diggs.
Edge, Fadale Diggs out of Syracuse. I can't believe he fell all the way to almost Mr. Irrelevant in the 7th round. I mean, I'm looking at my write-up on him on my draft guide. I graded him as a 4th, 5th round pick. I mean, and then if you do research, a lot of other draft experts had him rated going either in the 4th or 5th round. I think what you're seeing the Saints do is build depth on the defensive side of the ball, especially in the defensive line. If you look at the defensive line room, if you count the edges, you have Chase Young, you have Carl Granderson, Cam Jordan, and Fadale Diggs. And then now you have Vernon Broughton, Brian Brzee, Christian Boyd, Colin Saunders. I believe Nathan Shepard might. Yeah, you have Devon Godshaw, former LSU Tiger. Now, and I think Nathan Shepard might still be on the team. You have Foskey. You can't forget. I mean, Foskey has to improve. So, what you're seeing is Brandon Staley saw a problem, and it was called depth. You now have that. Fadale Diggs, sneaky athlete. He's probably, my comp for him was Austin Booker, who just got drafted last year to the Chicago Bears. Still very unproven, but I think that's a fairly decent comp for Fadale Diggs. And another, I mean, he's very much similar to also Carl Granderson in a way. He's not the tallest, but I mean, I think, Fado Diggs maybe in this 3-4 scheme could be like, that outside linebacker, pass rushing outside linebacker, and what you see in the 3-4 scheme these days. So I think this is really a decent draft haul. The only thing I can say about the draft haul is, I mean, Tyler Shugg, I mean, that's the only problem I have with it. But everything else, you hit on everything. And I mean, to get Fado Diggs at pick 254 when most had him going in the 4th round is unbelievable.
So, with him, falling that far, and him, possibly being, maybe a rotational player, maybe even a starter, depending on how, productive he is. His comparison, I think you said you had him with Mr. Austin Booker. So, like you said, he's kind of like a young, guy that's still having to prove himself, but with the size and the comparisons and all of that, you said he's probably like an Austin Booker. So, what do you think we will get out of Diggs? In this type of defense that Stanley's gonna be running, is he gonna be more the up on the line, or is he gonna be more maybe like you said with the Foskey, maybe on the outside linebacker kind of position, or how you see us using him?
So he's very versatile. I can actually read you exactly what I said about Fado Diggs in my draft guide. Explosive first step, positional versatility, high motor, and leadership. So with positional versatility, you can put him at the defensive end spot, and you could probably put him at that 3-4 outside linebacker spot, rushing off the edge. I think I would hope that maybe Diggs and Foskey can be used exactly like how I just described as defensive end, 3-4 outside linebacker. I really think this is a good depth pick, and what you're going to get out of Diggs is, I'm hoping if he sees the field, you're going to get an underrated guy. I mean, he's not going to be like a top 3 guy in the league, but he's going to be very serviceable, and that's all you can ask for is a good rotational piece. If you can rotate 3 different sets of defensive linemen at a time in different packages to keep people and bodies fresh, then that's a good problem to have. So, I love the pick. I do.
I kind of see what you're saying. Keep rotational players, keep players healthy, and imagine if every time you rotate these players to keep these other offense, on their feet and toes. Imagine actually being able to make production too. Like, these players are productive, and you can actually make plays too. That's gonna be the scary part. It's like you thinking, oh, they're best players off the field. Not really, because they all can do the same thing. They all can produce for us. So I can't wait to see what Diggs bring, and to be honest, I just can't wait to see what all these draft picks, do for us as well. But we're going to open up the lines and actually bring some people on, right? But while we put the link in the chat to get some people on to see, what their start are, on the whole draft, and if anybody's got any questions, for Logan, or for me, about the draft, and, go and ask away. We'll answer those questions in the chat for you. Also, shout out to everybody that's watching. We got 51 of y'all watching right now on X. So shout out to y'all who's watching on X/Twitter. Hit that follow button on Twitter if you want to. And also, there should be a link on my page as well to the YouTube. If you want to come to the YouTube side, hit that subscribe button for me as well. And also, the link is going to be in the YouTube chat. So if you on that X Twitter side and you want to come to the YouTube side and come on the show and actually talk and give us your thoughts on this whole draft and, ask us any questions, y'all welcome to do that as well. So I just put the link in the chat for everybody. So come on ahead, click that in there, come on in. And while we wait for everybody to join on in, we're going to take a quick commercial break by your sponsor, your boy Hoodie at Northport Nissan.
Welcome to Eddie Terrell's Northport Nissan. Hey, my name is Hoodie, and I'm a sales consultant at Eddie Terrell's Northport Nissan. And everybody always asks me this one question: why should we buy from Northport Nissan? Well, guess what? I'm about to give you a few reasons why. Reason number 1, we are an 11-time Award of Excellence winner. And you see it right here, and you see all the other ones down here as well. So you're going to ask me, what is the Award of Excellence, right? It's an award given by auto manufacturers to dealerships that perform excellent in sales, services, and parts, and in operations and customers' experience. So guess what? That just tells you that we love taking care of our customers, and we really, really reach the limits in sales because of the way we take care of our customers. Number 2 reason why is because we got the number 1 service department in our district. You don't believe me? Come see. Oh, and reason number 3. This is a family-owned business by Mr. Eddie Terrell. And guess what? We've been almost in business for 3 decades. And guess what? Many dealerships can't even say that. So guess what that means? We loyal to our customers, whether you bought in the past, whether you're buying now, or whether you're buying in the future. We're always going to be here to serve y'all. So make sure y'all come out here to Eddie Terrell's North Park Nissan, 955 North Highway 190 in Covington, Louisiana, man.
Yeah, you heard him. You better go see damn Hoodie at Newport Nissan, man. If you need a vehicle, whether you're looking to trade in your vehicle because you hate your car or you're looking to just to sell it, come see your boy Hoodie. We'll make sure we give you the top dollar for your vehicle. And also, I'll make sure to give you the best offer as well. So, make sure you go see me. Hoodie. Now, while we wait on people to click that link and come on in, because I know we're going to eventually get Mr. T.I. Slim South is going to hop on. I know that for a fact. There's one person I haven't heard in a minute, and that's Mr. Jerry. So we'll see if Jerry hops on as well. But while we wait for some people to join, as we wait for some people maybe from the X side, hop over to the YouTube to click that link as well. What is your total start on this whole offseason so far? Going from head coach Kellen Moore, bringing in his staff, with Stanley coming out to be defensive coordinator, bringing in Bo Davis, bringing all these new staff players, and then actually looking the way they draft as well. I mean, what is your thoughts on this whole, new roster, new look of the Saints?
It was needed, and I know it's easy to say this now, but I was one of probably the only media members to say when Dennis Allen got hired that he shouldn't have been hired. I mean, I was actually telling people that Eric Bieniemy should have been the head coach. I would have rather gone through 3 years of Eric Bieniemy to just say, you know what? Now that we know that Eric Bieniemy isn't a great head coach, we now know. But you went with Dennis Allen. It seems like the lazy pick. Okay, he was your defensive coordinator. You promoted him from within. And I said it. Not a lot of defensive coordinators were successful head coaches. Bill Belichick is an anomaly, just like Bill Parcells. Even George Seifert, who took over from Bill Walsh back in the 80s and 90s for the San Francisco 49ers. Dennis Allen was not a great head coach. So for years, like for those 3 years, I said it. He's not going to be here long. So you go out and get Kellen Moore, a very decorated college football quarterback, over 50 wins in his career at Boise State. He's the youngest head coach in Saints franchise history. The other youngest head coach in franchise history was Sean. So the only thing I can compare it to is a very 2006 type of Saints overhaul or movement, or flipping the page to is 2006 when Sean came. That's how I can maybe compare it to with Kellen Moore for right now on paper. I mean, has a lot of young guys on staff and a lot of veteran guys on staff. I mean, Doug Nussmeier he brings over with him from Philly. Doug was with him with Dallas, with the Chargers, and in Philly. I mean, Doug is a former Saints quarterback himself. Quarterback is his game. And really loved that pickup. Once Kellen got hired, I knew for a fact, I'm like, he's bringing Doug Nussmeier with him to be his offensive coordinator. That's going to be his title, but he's not calling plays. Kellen will be calling plays. And, I mean, Scott Tolzien, I mean, he's a former college quarterback as well. I mean, he tried to be one in the NFL, didn't work out, but he's got 3 people on the offensive side of the ball that are all QB gurus in a way. So, you can only hope that benefits both Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shugg, whoever the starter is going to be, whether it's going to be one of those two. But, they keep Keith Williams, who I absolutely love. I mean, went out to practice when we first picked Keith Williams up as our receivers coach a couple years ago. And the one thing that he does with his receivers, I actually like and find interesting. He does this drill where he throws a rugby ball to his receivers to help them get their hands right. Because, I mean, a rugby ball is not the same size as a football. It's absolutely this big. So if you can catch a rugby ball, you can catch a football. His coaching philosophies are absolutely interesting and intriguing to me, but I think it works out well. But then you go down the other list of new coaches. I mean, Brandon Staley, awful head coach, great defensive coordinator when he was with the Rams. I mean, I know it was probably easier said than done. You have Aaron Donald, but I like the pickup. I love that we're going to probably do a 3-4 scheme mixed with, like, some 4-2-5, 3-3-5. And Bo Davis, if you would have told me that LSU would have been looking for a new defensive line coach because Bo Davis went to the Saints, I would have said that you're crazy. I mean, Bo Davis has been one of the best defensive line coaches in the country, in college especially, for many years. So that's probably one of my favorite hires that the Saints made this offseason on Kellen Moore's staff. Then you look at linebackers coach, which I pay attention to very much. Peter Sermon, that they hired to be the linebackers coach. He was the defensive coordinator at Cal Berkeley the last few years, and Cal Berkeley was actually one of the better tackling teams in the country the last few years under his tutelage. So just the whole staff in general, I'm not going to go through each and every one of them, but the whole staff on paper looks good. Can they put it together? Can they put it together on the field? Only time will tell. I really hope they do.
Yeah.
Now, as a whole, like the off season, the one thing, I mean, people want to talk about drama. Seems like, an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, all this damn drama. I mean, wants to be, does he want to be here? Does he not? I mean, good gosh almighty, it's absolutely crazy. Now, when Kellen Moore got hired, the first thing I was told by like 3 of my sources was Kellen Moore does not like Derek Carr. Now, any of these other reporters can say that's not true, but it's absolutely true. Kellen Moore does not want Derek Carr to be the quarterback. Mickey Loomis does, but Kellen Moore does not want Derek Carr here. That is not his guy. That's why Derek has been absent. You didn't see him here in the Super Bowl. You didn't see him here at all during this offseason. Because he knows Kellen Moore does not want him. And that's why I'm not saying he's faking his injury. I don't want to say he's that much of a low life like that, but Derek Carr is not going to be the starting quarterback in the fall. I don't care what Mickey Loomis says. But,
yeah.
I mean, if you look at free agency, I mean, we didn't sign a whole heck of a lot. I mean, we filled a few spots. I mean, you signed Chase Young back, which I think was a smart thing. You bring Isaac Yiadom back to bring some, like, veteran type of presence in the cornerback room. I mean, all in all, this offseason's been, I'm not going to say one for the ages, but it's been interesting. It's never a dull moment so far. I mean, now you're looking at undrafted free agency now, so I think it's going well so far. It's going better than expected. Now, you just have to see what happens on the field. That's the only thing that matters.
Oh, yeah. Can they produce on the field? I mean, this is a kind of like, touch up on, what you were saying and how I really feel. I think it's a good offseason, like you said. We definitely needed a change, especially in the coaching staff and all that. But there's one thing I wanted to say, and I don't know if you maybe you see it as I see it, maybe you don't. Doesn't Kellen Moore and this staff, does it not kind of feel like a Sean Payton 2.0 kind of staff? Because if you think about it, an offensive-minded coach, right, who's very smart, who's going to be the guy calling the plays, right, with his offensive coordinator who's not going to be calling the plays. He's going to be just the guy there to help run the offense, keep everybody in check. And it's kind of like a Sean Payton / Pete Carmichael. You think of who was the defensive coordinator that was good for us, Dennis Allen, right? Well, guess who that is? You brought in a good defensive guy in Stanley, who already had his opportunity as a head coach before too, remember? Because, Dennis Allen was a head coach before, didn't do good, wound up going back to D.C., and then they finally gave him a second chance, right? So it's kind of looking like a same thing that's, falling into place. And then if you think about it, where did Sean Payton come from before? He came from Dallas. Guess where Kelly Moore started and was doing all his, amazing
Dallas.
names and got his name Dallas. So it's just crazy how it's all unfolding, and it's kind of looking like a Sean Payton 2.0, with everything falling into place. The only off-season move that I just didn't care for so far was just to draft Tyler Show. So hopefully he can prove us wrong, and maybe he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league by the end of the season. Maybe, I don't know, but I still rather see Rattler have a chance because he didn't get a full chance last year because of the people he played with injury wise and stuff like that. So we're gonna see, but I would say my favorite signing so far this offseason has to be Louisiana native Justin Reed, man. He's amazing. He won Super Bowl with the Chiefs as well, just like Tyron did, So I think it would be fun to actually see him and Tyron Matthews back there, especially training up, and adding a little bit of Sanker, and all of them in the backfield as well. So that's probably my favorite signing so far this offseason, Justin Reed.
Justin Reed is actually an underrated signing. I mean, he's a little. I'm not saying he's ancient, but I mean he's on the older side. But Justin Reed, absolutely love to pick up. I mean, Tyron and Justin Reed have that chemistry already dating back to the Chiefs days, like you said. So, the decent offseason. I mean, the only bad for this offseason so far is the Derek Carr fiasco, and maybe Tyler Shugg. But the crazy thing is today, I was messaging with my source. I asked him if you had to predict who is going to, and I don't want to rile up people, but I just report what I hear. He told me was if he had to make a prediction today who the starting quarterback was going to be out of Shugg or Rattler week 1, he said I would have to predict Tyler Shugg is going to be your starter week 1 over Spencer Rattler unless something crazy happens, like Spencer Rattler just kills it in training camp, which I believe he will. But so you might have to pencil in Tyler Shugg as your quarterback 1 when the Saints take the field in September, possibly. Now, I'm sure everyone that's watching doesn't want to hear that, but the one thing I can say is I'm like you. Don't like the pick, but man, I really want to be proven wrong. I want him to be successful because he plays for the New Orleans Saints, but I just want him. I mean, you spend a second-round pick on him, but I mean, I also it's just like I really, yeah. He may be 35 by week 3. That's a good one. That's a good one. Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shugg, regardless of what these people are saying, it's just whispers. These are just whispers. It's not concrete. It's just whispers of what I've heard. Tyler Shugg and Spencer Rattler may very well just be bridge quarterbacks until 2027. I'll just leave it at that.
Let me ask you this. Do you think next year in 2026 draft, do you think there's a possibility that Arch Manning says he's going to go to the draft?
If Arch Manning comes out of college after 1 season, I would be shocked. Because, right now you only have 2 games in your entire college football career under your belt. In my opinion, after this season, you're only going to have 18. If you do the math, 18, no, my math is wrong. But, if you include playoffs, you might only have, 18 starts underneath your belt if you make it that far in a college football playoff. And I just don't think that's smart. One and done. And football doesn't work like it does in basketball. If I'm Arch Manning, I at least, start 2 years in college. And there's no offense to Quinn Ewers or even Arch Manning, but Arch couldn't even beat out Quinn Ewers, and Quinn Ewers fell all the way to the Dolphins in the 7th round today. I'm not saying Arch is better than Quinn Ewers or Quinn Ewers is worse than Arch, but I think Arch would be smart to come out in 2027 after you have 2 years under your belt. If I am Cooper, I'm telling him to stay.
Okay. So 2 years, so you're hoping 2027. Okay. I like it.
2027, and from more whispers, I'm just going to speak smartly now after past events.
Yeah.
Rumors, and I want to make myself clear, rumors is that there are a lot of lovers inside that building on airline a lot of people are in love with Arch and the potential for 2027. Now, if Tyler Shug just comes out and kills it, or Spencer Rattler just comes out and kills it, all that goes to bed. But right now, that's the whispers that I'm hearing. Again, rumors, whispers. Please don't quote me if I'm wrong.
We won't do that to you. But we finally have somebody backstage waiting to come hop on, come talk to us, he'll let us know what he thinks of the draft. The crazy thing is, let's give a special shout out to everybody that's watching. We got 93 total people watching over X and YouTube combined. So shout out to all y'all watching, whether you're on the X Twitter side or you're on YouTube side. Make sure you spam the shit out of that like button, and make sure you hit that follow button or subscribe button, whatever side you're on. And, make sure y'all follow, because me and Logan's going to be doing this all season long. Your boy Hoodie Jube is back in full time mode. And, he's got him a guy named Logan who's going to give all the insight. Shh. But don't take him wrong, because like he said, they whispers and rumors. But let's bring on the guy from backstage, right? And all these people really don't know about this connection that I have with this guy. A lot of people don't realize that I used to be a former rapper myself. That's why they call me Hoodie Jube. That was my rapper name. So I know a lot of people, like Kevin Gates, I know my brother from another mother, Ramen. I know a lot of people, but y'all probably didn't realize I had one of the biggest connections with one of the biggest, hip hop / R&B / rap star of all time. And that is my guy, T.I. You can have whatever you like. Yeah. What's up, T.I., man? Welcome.
What's that? What's up, Logan?
What up? Everybody's like, what? He got a connection with T.I.
Man, what's going on with y'all, man? What's going on?
Nothing much, man. We wrapped up, the whole draft. I seen you in here since we started. So let me ask you this one. What did you think of the whole draft? Because I know day 2 was kind of a what the frick moment right when we started. But after that, it felt like from since 40th pick, everything kind of died down and everything started going in the right direction now.
Honestly, y'all, coming from me, you can have whatever you like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I think we had some solid picks, real talk. But Tyler Show, I ain't gonna lie, Tyler Show, that was a tough pick. I ain't gonna lie to you, but hey, however, I don't care as long as we get Derek Carr out the building. I'm gonna be honest with you, as long as we get Derek Carr out of here, that's what I think about it. But the linebacker from Oklahoma, solid pick. The running back from Kansas, solid pick. Like, it's been a solid pick, like a solid draft, y'all. Real talk. That's how I think about it. Like Kellen Moore, let Kellen Moore build his era. If I'm talking stupid right now. Let Kellen Moore build his era and let him do his thing. I respect it. But Tyler Show, with 6 foot, what 6'5", 6'4", 6'5", whatever. Let him do his thing. As long as Derek Carr don't take another snap for the Saints again, I'm good. I ain't gonna lie to you, Hoodie. I'm not gonna lie to you, Logan. I'm good.
I don't think you're gonna have to worry about Derek Carr taking a snap, regardless of what Mickey is saying in the press conferences. He's got to give these political answers. Everything that I've heard from literally 5 different sources, which I can't believe I have that many. Shout out me for working my ass off. All 5 of them, I've literally said Derek Carr is not going to be the quarterback in the fall, and if he is, then they have not heard that. Then Derek Carr's shoulder just magically healed overnight. So, because Derek Carr really does not want to be here anymore. But like I said yesterday on the show, his camp apparently laughed at the Tyler Shug pick. So I don't see a world where where Derek Carr is here this fall, and if he is, that's all on Mickey and not Kellen.
Facts.
I mean,
Facts.
well, let me ask y'all this. I'm just curious. So I know a lot of us don't care for Derek Carr anymore. You know, with the way he was acting. You know, the way he's acting now. But this is just me just questioning y'all and asking y'all. When he first signed, you had half of the fans happy, half of them were like, "We getting a bum," blah 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 blah. You know, never did like him, never did show him love. You know, and with him moving here, you know, they wrote about why he didn't do this, why he didn't do that. And then, you know, this last year, in his second year, he actually started, you know, doing stuff for the city, doing stuff with, you know, some of the youngers, you know, schools and stuff like that. And he was actually doing it. He got along with Demario Davis. You know, they did their own little worship thing, you know, with church and all kind of stuff. So, like, everything would look like it was going good. Then, you know, he started, you know, getting hurt, this and that. But, you know, it seemed like still a lot of people didn't like him. You know, they were making parade floats, you know, out of him, you know, being injured and, you know, all kind of stuff. You're like, people just, like, felt like they hated him still. So, with that, and then now you're going to be leaving. Now you're getting left on the table because Kellen Moore's here now. Mickey Loomis still loves you because that's why he brought you here in the first place and gave you the money because of him and Dennis Allen. But now Kellen Moore's your coach and Kellen Moore don't want nothing to do with you. So now, let's say he is faking the injury or whatever, just for he doesn't want to play for the team. But the question is, we all pissed off at him, saying that, like, damn, what a piece of shit, you don't want to play for us, then get the F out of here. We don't want to see you on the field ever again. But at the same time, can you blame the dude for more than half of the fans never did like him from the beginning? And even when he tried to do something good, nobody gave him the respect. They just hated him still. And then now you got a coach that don't even want him on the team anyway, so he's trying to figure out a way to get out because he's not going to play. There's no point in him being here, right? So, I mean, do we blame him for that? You know? I mean, I can say some stuff you can blame him, but maybe he's acting the way he's acting because Kellen don't want him. I'm just saying. You know, you got to think about human side.
He never embraced the Who That Nation. He never embraced the city. He never embraced the culture. People down here recognize that. You can't fake that.
Well, I respect that, you know, like him not doing that. I understand that, you know, from the city standpoint. But to me, it's hard to embrace a city when more than half of the people didn't like me to begin with, just because they thought I was a bum in the first place from the Raiders. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, damn, if you think I'm a bum and you don't respect me, and they said F you, well, shit, I'm not gonna, you know, I'm gonna stay away from y'all, you know. And that's why he started doing good with some of the people that did like him, but it wasn't enough, you know, like a Drew Brees, where Drew Brees was the savior and, you know, did every single thing. And that's why I was telling Logan earlier when we was talking about Danny. I think the draft pick from Oklahoma, man, I think he's gonna be your next Demario Davis.
Man.
He's gonna be the man to fall in love with the city. I'm telling you, I just feel like he's the next guy. He's gonna be the next one to fall in love with.
He's the cracker with the juice, as he said.
Yes.
So I can say that without it sounding being. I can say cracker with the juice without sounding offensive. I don't care.
I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with it. He just says a cracker with the juice.
Just like a communion. Anyway, I mean, I love that. I absolutely love the pick. I'm like everyone else. I love the pick. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I'm hoping he hit stick somebody first preseason game in that A gap. I'm gonna go absolutely insane when I see that.
That's the good thing though. Like, with them being a lot of young players, so like when we go into preseason and actually trying to figure it out, it's gonna be really fun to watch some of these young players. So you're gonna see, you know, Diggs coming off the edge. You're gonna see Danny Sussman back there with linebacker. You're gonna see young folks like last year, Jalen Ford maybe get an opportunity to, you know, play alongside Danny Stutzman. You're going to see Sanker in the backfield looking to play. You're going to see Riley out there. You're going to see Rico Payton competing. You're going to see all these young stars that we think's got really good potential to be really great role players or even be great players in general. And we get to see that up front, you know, this year because there's
long overdue.
Number
it's
one.
Long overdue.
Yeah, Kool-Aid's going to even have to compete because there's no legit starter besides maybe Alante, because he's the only one that's been here for 2, 3, 4 years, and he actually, you can put him in the slot or put him
Right.
outside wherever you want him. He's gonna play for you. I feel like he's the only one that's locked in, and then Justin Fields and Tyrann Mathieu. That's your big, locks, and then DeMario. And I think Breesy from last year locked up his spot, with the way Breesy played, and Granderson. Those are like my main pick, and maybe Chase Young, because they signed to a big deal. But other than that, everybody else is going to be competing for some jobs. So that's going to be the
Right.
good part about the offseason. And I'm hoping that they do a fair quarterback competition. Don't just say, I drafted him in the second round, so that's my quarterback. I want y'all to have a competition and actually do a fair preseason, where one person starts this game and, finish off the game in the second half, and then the other person, swaps it for the next game and actually take, chances in competition. I want to see them going against starters and, non-starters before we can kind of compare them, So that's going to be my favorite part, is when we get to that preseason part and actually be able to see what some of these guys can do. My only scary part about Tyler's is some of these videos people be posting. It's the most two famous one is when he was at the combine. The dude missed the dude wide open with a side throw, thought he was Mahomes, and nowhere near looked like the Mahomes throw. And then the other one that's getting me is when he was playing against who was it that he was playing against, and the dude was getting chased out the pocket, and he just chugs it up forward for almost an interception. I'm like, this is who we really getting. But then again, you got to think about it. That's only 2 bad plays I've really seen, So we'll see how it all goes. At the end of the day, I want him to prove me wrong, because we did give you, we did put a second round pick into you. So hopefully he can prove us wrong and becomes the next great quarterback. Cool. If not, I'm really more, just to be honest with you, I'm cheering more for Rattler to be the starter and being the franchise guy, because last year, if anybody was watching my stuff, I know you was watching my stuff last year, Slim. But Logan, I don't think he was here at the time. So I was literally hyping up Rattler so much, and I was watching his highlight videos, and I was going through some, comparisons and all that, and watching them. And I was just saying, like, how talented this dude is. Like, his arm talent, he can make any throw you need him to. Deep, middle, short. He can run out the pocket. He can scramble. He can do everything you need to do. The only downfall, I think, of Spencer Rattler is his height. He's short. If he was just taller, if he was taller, 6'5".
Wait. He's 6 foot, right? He's six foot.
I think he's like 6 foot, like Drew Brees' height.
He's like
5'11", 6 foot.
6'1".
Yeah,
Okay.
if he's even 6'1", you know what I'm saying? He's kind of short compared to Tyler Show and
That's not
other quarterbacks.
short. It's not short, but
Short,
for standards, it gotta be
Yeah.
taller, like 6'2", 6'3", 6'4",
Agree, yeah,
6'5", some shit like
Yeah,
that.
so when you think
Yeah.
of 6 foot, you think of like almost a Drew Brees, a 5'11", 6 foot. That's what you think of when you hear that. You think of a Drew Brees height. Drew Brees, like we always told everybody, when I used to argue with people all the time, who's the GOAT, him or Tom Brady and stuff. I said, well, I'm gonna always pick my quarterback Drew Brees to GOAT because of one reason. I said he made all these amazing stats and beat Tom Brady. Tom Brady had to take 2 more years to do that, right? And the funniest thing of it all was Tom Brady had 5 more inches than maybe 6 inches on Drew Brees, and Drew Brees barely can see over his
Right.
big boys, and he's making these throws like it's nothing. And it just shows you how good of a talent he was, and how smart of a quarterback, and how
Yep.
much he practiced to be able to know where you're gonna be at, how you want to catch it, and all. And to be honest with you, Rattler and Tyler Shaw, or whoever who's going to be our next franchise quarterback, whoever wants to be that guy and step into the Drew Brees role, which is going to be really hard to fill, all you got to do is go be the first one there, last one to leave, and learn your receivers like Drew Brees did. Every single player, whether you was a practice squad player or whether you was a starter, he knew how to throw the ball to you, he knew where you wanted the ball, and he knew where to throw it to where you're comfortable at getting it. And that's the one thing that this next quarterback's got to do. You got to learn your players and learn how they do it, how they play. If you don't
Right.
do that, it's going to be off and
I
on.
agree
You're
with
going to
that.
have a good game, you're going to have a bad game, So that's what I'm hoping for, and that's what I'm looking for in our next quarterback. And like I said, I just think Spencer Rattler can be one of those guys. That's just me. But with the pick with Tyler Show, the only other thing I can say that's positive about him, well, a few things. He's 6'5". He's tall, good. He's a little athletic, good. But the one thing I heard is that he is a very positive guy, and he's like a leader in the locker room. So that's a good thing. You need a leader at quarterback. You need a leader guy. So I guess that's a plus. I guess the downfall that everybody's really worried about is just the injuries, and being in college for
Yeah,
7 years. That's the only downfall, the scary part about it, I would say.
but we gotta understand too. Kellen Moore, former quarterback coach, OC. Like I think he might bring the best out of sure. You know what I'm saying? Like Kellen Moore was when he played quarterback at Boise State, well, he was like 50-3, right? If I'm not mistaken, 50-3.
Yep, that's
So
right.
you gotta. I don't give a damn. Excuse my language. I don't give a damn where you go or where you play at. If you 50-3, you coach the best quarterbacks in the league. You know what it takes to win at quarterback. So like, I'm gonna put my faith in Kellen Moore. Like real talk, I'm gonna put my faith in him. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is for me.
Yeah.
And Tyler Show, 6 foot. We gonna call it 6'5".
Mm-hmm.
He. The thing is, matter of fact, any prospect they wanted to embrace the Who That Nation. They want to embrace the city. They want to embrace the Saints. Derek Carr never did that. He never did that. Never. So, however, if Tyler Show works out good, if not, cool. But as long as Derek Carr is not under center, I'm fine. I'll tell y'all that. I'll tell you Hoodie. I'll tell you Logan. As long as Derek Carr not under center for the Saints ever again, I'm good. If we gotta go through the growing pains, whatever, I'm fine with that. I'm fine. You gotta move forward. It's time to move forward. That's all I gotta say.
I agree.
It is. I mean, I was I remember at first I was all in favor of Derek Carr coming here because I wasn't on the Jameis Winston train. I mean, I was telling him, like, yeah, he's goofy and funny. That's cool and all, but I just want wins, and he's not going to bring wins, and he's not going. I mean, 30 for 30 is, I think that's the 7th most all-time interceptions in league history. But the one thing I can say about Jameis is, even though I did not like him as a quarterback, I mean, everyone in the locker room loved him. He embraced the city. I mean, people still love him every time he shows up down here in New Orleans. But
oh yeah.
But I mean, that's why I was happy when we got Derek Carr. I'm like, okay, he was serviceable with Oakland and Vegas to an extent.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, okay.
I mean, he made it to the playoffs, and he almost had an MVP type of season at one year, but he got hurt. Right,
he made it to the playoffs. Yeah, he made it to the playoffs with a special teams coach as his head coach because I believe Josh McDaniels got fired. But when Derek Carr is healthy, it seems just like he looks like a Super Bowl quarterback. We've seen the first 2 weeks we dropped, I think, 50 points week 1, and then 40 something in week 2 against the Cowboys, and then after he just dropped off a cliff. It was just week 1 and 2. Derek Carr, probably one of the best quarterbacks in Saints history, but
yeah,
he's
well,
his
the
whole
one thing I
career
would
has been
say,
inconsistent.
The one thing I would say, the downfall last year was just injuries, and the number one injury that made the downfall from having 50 and 40 something points was Eric McCoy, and a lot of people didn't want to argue with me. And they said that's not the reason. No, that is the reason. When you lose a starting, and I was arguing with a lot of people last year about this, and they know who they are. I'ma still stick to my saying. When you lose a Pro Bowl center compared to just a regular starter that can be replaced, this ain't just a regular starter. This is a Pro Bowl starting center. This dude is going to be hard to replace because he is your guy who's snapping the ball, who's calling out the plays, who's calling out the people who to protect. Watch out for this guy. He knows what to do. We didn't have that for most of the season last year because of his injury. So that was a big downfall just because right there, that's the guy that's allowing everybody up the middle and, and the pass rush. So that was the number one downfall. And then after that, everybody just started flying, going out like flies and, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I think we're going to be better this year. I heard we got a new, person that's supposed to keep everybody healthier than the last people, heard they really good at it as well. So that's a good thing. So we'll see how that goes. And I remember you saying something about Jameis. Don't you joke about my Jameis. That's my guy. No, he's not 30 for 30. Get it right. 33 for 30, motherfuckers. Not saying 30 for 30. It was 33 for 30. And other reason why had to call you out, Logan, on it, man. He could win you games, especially under the Sean Payton era. He was doing good. And then
He's 5-2.
some motherfucker by the name of Devin White had to pull him down by the goddamn, horse collar for no damn reason,
Or
and
ACL, yep.
end his 5-2 season, and ever since that moment, he just hasn't been the same. That
I get it.
It ruined
He
him.
was 5-2. James was doing his thing, Hoodie. He
Yep,
was 5-2.
probably would have made the
He was
playoffs
doing
that
his
year
thing.
with him.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
He was. It's like Sean had him on a leash. I mean, I give him that his TD-INT ratio. He was 14-3. Trust me.
Better than 30 now.
I mean, everybody was in my mentions. Believe me, I remember it to a T because everyone told me every single day. But it was like Jameis is like one of those wild little chihuahuas out there, and Sean had him on a leash. That's what I have to compare it to. I mean, because there was times. I mean, if you go back and watch his Tampa days, it was just like, oh my God, he throws the ball like he just throws it up and says, "Oh God got me," and just throws it up. That's why I threw. The way I view Jameis Winston experience is, he will throw you 5 touchdowns, but there's a good chance he will throw you 5 interceptions at the same time, because that's just the player he is. But with Derek Carr, it's kind of the same. I mean, Derek Carr is what he is. He's not going to improve. If he goes somewhere else, he's 34. There's no like, oh, he's got to develop. He's, I think, 33, 34. Derek Carr is what he is. And I've said this on a past show. The one thing Derek Carr didn't do, he didn't listen to Drew's advice that he gave Zion. Like Drew told Zion Williamson, if you love the city and you embrace the city, it will love you back. Derek didn't do that. Jameis did, so I give him credit for that. Derek did not do that. He came in here like he was a high roller from Vegas, thinking he was the stuff, and Mickey brought in Derek Carr because he thought we was a quarterback away, which I thought we were as well, from taking that next step. And he just was not it. I thought he was going to be it, but it was the complete opposite. And it might be a while before we find our franchise quarterback. Maybe it is Shug. I doubt it, but
Yeah.
I just think the Derek Carr experience is over. I don't think anyone has to worry about that. If I'm wrong, then I will be even pleasantly surprised. That's how confident I am in everything that I'm hearing. And like I said earlier in the show, don't be surprised, and I hate to say it, that Tyler Shug isn't the starting quarterback when we roll out of there in September in week 1.
Rattler's the starter. Screw him. Like we said, hopefully Rattler beats him out, because that's my dude. That's how I like, But we'll see how everything, unfolds. We'll see. But at the end of the day, this is the Who Dat Nation. We all come with tough skin. We all, got strong hearts, and the reason why I say strong hearts is because if you're not a Saints fan, and if you decide to become a Saints fan one day, you better have that tough skin and that strong heart, because trust me, our hearts get broken a lot. Our hearts gets,
Right.
like, damn, what the frick is going on? But also, the
Right.
one thing about being a Saints fan is that we can love you hard as well with that strong heart of ours. If you, embrace us, we'll embrace you, and people can feel that. So, at the end of the day, with our new leaders, coming in the buildings, I really do think Danny's gonna be one. Justin Reed's gonna be an immediate impact, because this is his hometown. Like, he's from Louisiana, so he's gonna embrace it as well, just like Tyron did. When he came back to home and all that. So, but if you need a guy that's gonna be replacing the Demario Davis kind of embrace, I think it's gonna be Danny. That's gonna be my choice of taking
That's a still pick. That's a still pick. Oh, Danny
for the 4th
Stuffman,
round
that's a
too.
still pick. Yeah, that's a steal. In my opinion, that's a steal.
Definitely. I mean, let's ask Logan since he's on here. Logan, with I know we covered it a little bit, but what are the Saints getting with this guy? 'Cause like you said, this was like your favorite pick out of the draft, one of the best still like out of the draft besides maybe Neil. But let me ask you, what are you? Not what are you? What are the Saints getting in this guy? And what does he really bring to the table? Is he better as a pass rusher kind of linebacker, or is he more of a step back, let me cover, or is he kind of more of like a what you want to call it? Does he kind of remind you like a Zach Bowen, but just was never used right? You know,
Good
if you
question.
think about
So,
it.
so I mean,
Good
if anyone
question.
remembers James Laurinaitis,
Yes.
downhill gap
For the
filler,
Rams.
tackling machine. He played one season for the Saints before getting hurt. I was so upset when that happened. But tackling machine, great leader, and he can drop back in the zone coverage a little bit. We've seen it at when he was at Oklahoma, and you've seen him, like I said earlier. If you go back and watch film, Alabama, Oklahoma, he absolutely stuffed Jalen Milroe when he was in the A gap. He's mainly a downhill run stopper. But he has caught interceptions, not a lot, but a few. But what they're getting in him, he's a great leader and a tackling machine.
So
like
is
I
he
said,
like a Demario maybe? I mean, because Demario, I mean, he always closed the gap coming up the middle, can pressure you, and he's not the best at coverage, but he can cover if you need him to. So I mean, is he kind of like a Demario?
He's kind of like that. He's not as big as the Mario,
Yeah,
but
might not be as
he's
big.
kind of like similar like the Mario. I definitely recommend if you or anyone doesn't know who James Laurinaitis is, go watch his tape, and I think it's almost like a spitting image for Danny Stutzman, James Laurinaitis. I mean, like I said, the one thing that we was missing on this team was tackling, and he definitely brings that on his defense. Tackling machine.
Tackling machine, baby. Even when I just said tackling machine, kind of reminds me of the longest yard. Mean machines, tackle machines. I was just thinking of that. So I don't know why that came up to my head. It's my bad, y'all. But I'm just ready for this OTAs and training camp to get along because I'm ready to see some competitions and all. And all I gotta say is, Logan, this year I heard they're gonna be bringing training camps back at the facilities. So if
Back
that's the
home.
case,
That's
we
right.
definitely got to get some tickets, you and me, and actually sit together and actually watch these stuff, or we can actually scout some of the stuff and see what's going on, and actually compare these quarterbacks between Rattler and but let me ask you this: do you think let's say shows the guy for them, but let's say Rattler beats him out, cool, that'll be a good thing because I really want Rattler to play. But the thing is, are they sticking with Jake Hayner too, or do you think he's gone now? Does Kellen like Hayner or no? Because that's like a Derek Carr comparison, right? That's what people said. He came from Fresno State, kind of like a Carr, just a young one.
So we drafted Jake Hayner simply because Derek wanted Jake Hayner. That was literally the only reason, or one of two reasons. He was at the Senior Bowl, and Saints love Senior Bowl quarterbacks, and also Derek pounded the table for Jake Hayner. Now, I don't think Jake Hayner makes the 53, but I don't know if they're going to bring in another quarter. I mean, they got Ben DiNucci on the roster, but I don't think he's going to make it either. But if they bring in like another undrafted free agent quarterback into camp or even rookie camp, I don't know if Jake Hayner makes it. I mean, hypothetically, say they bring in someone like a Miles Crawley from Grambling, who I really like. I think he could beat Hayner out as like at least the third string. But if I don't see a world where Hayner's on the 53, because if Derek Carr's on injured reserve, he's got to go on the pup list. So technically, you would have four quarterbacks. So I think Hayner's gone. I would be surprised if he's here. That's just a prediction, no intel. That's just a prediction, by the way.
Yeah, I feel you. By the way, shout out to everybody that's watching. I know earlier we said about 80, but now we finally hit triple digits, over 100 people watching from Twitter/X and YouTube. So shout out to everybody that's watching. Like I said again, hit the damn like button, and also hit the follow button or the subscribe button, depending on what side you're on. And by the way, I put the link in the chat like 3 or 4 times. My boy Slim South, the only one that came and chatted with us tonight, Logan. So the real question is, where is everybody at tonight? You got all these people watching. I know y'all all Saints fans because y'all listening. So if y'all Saints fans, y'all listening to this, don't be afraid to hit that damn link and come talk to us, because I don't know where Slim South face went. His face went gone. You know, he went missing for a minute. But all you gotta do is just ask Slim. And Logan, just to tell you a quick story about Slim. He used to sit in the chat for months, dude. Never come on the show. And we always tell him, like, yo, you're always talking in the chat. Why don't you just come on and talk to us? We're not gonna, bite you. We're not gonna hurt you. Just come on, have a good time, and talk to us. And he already told me from the beginning. When he came on the show, he was kind of like that introvert kind of guy, like, just didn't really want to talk to people like that. He would just rather just talk to you in the chat. He was, not the person to come on camera. And, after a while, now he is, a year or so later. What is Slim South doing now, a year or so later? Coming on the show, talking to everybody, calling people out too in the chat, like, hey, when you gonna come on the show? And that's just a cool moment to have, with your subscribers and with your fans, is that you bring them from an introvert. There he is, look, I'm talking about you, how we brought you from the chat as an introvert, and now you're on here just talking away and telling people to get their butts on the show now, huh? So I was just telling him, because I was like, it's crazy that we have 100 people watching from YouTube and Twitter and X, and you're the only one that hit that link tonight. So I need your help. Used to be introvert, help me and tell these people, stop being a chicken shit. You're a Saints fan. Come on, talk some football with us, and let us know what's your thoughts on, the draft, right? Come on, Slim, call them out. You used to be like them. Let's get them out there, sell.
Yeah, honestly, real talk. Like who did you say? I was an introvert. I'm not gonna say I was shy. I ain't gonna lie. I'm a grown ass man. I don't like using that term, shy. But however, he brought me out of my shell, y'all. Real talk. I just clicked that link one time. I forgot when it was.
Years ago, at least 2 years ago.
At least a couple years ago, and I just came on this chat, yo, and ever since then, y'all seen Slim. Cause of hoodie, yo.
You can have whatever you like.
You like, yeah. Yeah, real talk.
Like I said, like I tell people, man, it's just like people don't understand that, I'm not the YouTuber that just comes on and just try to just talk, and just, give you a 10, 15, 20-minute show and this, all right, I'm out of here, peace, dog. No, I'm one of those people that's going to come on, tell you how I feel, tell you how I'm really feeling about everything, give you all the info you need to know. But also, I'm going to open up the links, interact with my chat, and also say, hey, click that damn link and come talk to me. Because I like to talk to people. I don't like just to talk to my damn self and to the people just sitting in the chat. And that's it. I like people to interact with and talk to. And like I tell people all the time, me being a salesperson, and I used to serve before this. Dog, you don't understand how many people I interacted with when I was especially when I was serving, man. I used to go up to them, hey man, welcome, can I get your order? And they just looking at me like, I'm like, can you tell me what you want to drink? Like, I know you don't want to talk, but at least you can tell me what you hear. I mean, you're sitting here, you got to tell me what, I can't read your mind, and literally by the time they started, barely wanted to say shit, until the time they leave, an hour later, man, they asking me, hey, what's your phone number, man? We got to be friends. Like, it's crazy what type of connection that I make with people, and Slim South already knows it. Like I said, this dude went from an introvert just sitting in the chat to coming on the show every damn time we go live. The dude has my phone number whenever he needs me or anything, we can talk. And me and him talked a few times, literally after shows where Logan, just to tell you a secret, me and him was after a show went off live. me and him were still talking for like another 3 hours, just bullshitting about life
Oh,
and all
hell
that.
yeah. Like the
Yeah.
6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did that one night. It was crazy, but we was
Yeah.
off. You know, we was off the next day, so that's why we did it. We just got to sleep in. But like I was trying to tell people, that's the kind of connection we have on this show.
Yeah.
And that's why I always tell Logan, anytime I go live, you're welcome to go live. And like I told him, at the end of the day, I'm trying to make sure he's going to go somewhere because he's really good at what he does. And, you know, with all the connections and all that, he's only going to get bigger and all that. And I'm telling you, I say let's give it the rest of this season. Let's get it a full season. I'm telling you, somebody's going to be calling Logan. It's going to be Ross Jackson. It's going to be Nick Underhill. Somebody that's going to be watching you and be like, Logan, we need you. We need you, bro. We see you, what you're doing on the Hoodie channel. We like you. And guess what? Then I'm going to be crying over here because now I lost my Logan. I got to find my next Logan that I can have without the insight. You know?
Let me tell you a funny story, Hoodie. Let me tell you a little bit about the television broadcast business. It's funny. So I've been applying like crazy since I lost my other television job last year. And television is all about looks to some people in voice. And I've had to cut and style my hair every which way. I've had to shave off my beard, whatever. I had to change up my voice whenever I'm on camera. If I let y'all hear my anger voice, you would think I'm absolutely crazy, but I'm not going to do that right now. But in this business, it's definitely very cutthroat. I mean, I applied for a job out of state, and the news director just basically, quote-unquote, said it wasn't polished enough to be on camera, and in layman's terms, she basically said I was too ugly to be on camera at her station. So, very cutthroat business. Wow. I mean, that's the first time I've ever been told I was ugly, too ugly to be on TV, but I've been rejected before by women, but that was absolutely harsh. But, so, that's why I'm very appreciative of you having me on your YouTube show, and whoever's out there listening ever gives me an opportunity, I very much would appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
Advance, but so.
And you know what happens? You know what you do in these situations? Just hear me out. And he already knows Logan. I already talked to him, behind the scenes. I even did this, and I'm going to let everybody else know. And like I said, I'm going to just throw this out there. I told him, yes, I started this show by myself. I met Big Q and them. They helped me along the way. Everybody did. And then from there, I just grew this channel. And I said, I got it to where it's going to start making money to where, once I start going live again, I do views, I get super chats, I get all that. The money's going to roll in. And I told him, I said, if you want to, I said, you're more than welcome to become a co-host of the show because I can't go live every day night, but I would love to. And I said, whenever you get insights, I said, I'll give him the password and the logins to log into the channel. He can go do a quick video, post it on the YouTube channel, go live if he wants to, and, let him know about the breaking news. If he wants to, because I said that would get his name out there. The channel's going to grow bigger. And eventually, me and him can have the channel to where it's like the Ross Jackson, the Lock On Saints, or Tracy, my boy Tracy over there on what you call it, Chat Sports.
Chat Sports.
Yeah, on Chat Sports, and it's gonna keep growing, and that would be like a daily thing. And like I told him, I said, yeah, it'd be my channel, it'd be the money and all that, but I said I don't mind literally splitting the money in half if we both doing the work, because at the end of the day, we both doing it, we both putting our hard effort into it. I said I'm willing to do that, and I said imagine us growing so much bigger that one day we can actually surpass a guy like Nick Underhill and all of that, and just think that this is your full-time job now, and you can go laugh into that lady's face that said, oh, you're not good looking enough, your voice ain't good enough, and say, guess what, they hiring us, because you know why? We're the next Pat McAfee type of show where ESPN wants to hire your show to be on their show just because of how knowledgeable and how great and how many people love us. That's what I want to be at one day. I want to be on that type of level. And like I said, it starts with me starting my channel, but I always got to bring somebody because it's going to be hard for just to start this thing and not me not having no reporter, background. So when I seen you, I was like, oh, Logan would fit in here perfectly. Plus, he's still looking. I said, at the moment, he can just, come on here, talk, get his name out there. You never know, somebody might get you. And I said, but if not, and they really cut stroke about everything, we can start our own shit, and eventually this would be our full-time job. Screw everybody else. That's just how I feel. Just think, why you think Ross Jackson is in that backstage talking to people now as a reporter? Locked On Saints called him, so now he's a Locked On Saints reporter for the Saints. Nick Underhill got his own channel, NOF. He's a reporter for the Saints. And guess what? Just imagine when Hoodie's channel gets on there. You're going to have a microphone that says Hoodie on the damn thing. And we're freaking recording for Hoodie's news and all that. Just think of it. And that's my big dream. So that's why I always said that offer is always on the table for you whenever you're ready. If you decide to do that. And like I said, this channel is going to grow up big. And trust me, we might meet some other people that we never even heard of that might have more close sources that we never even heard of. And they can get big. Nobody knows. But that's my main goal. But took a 5-month break because of my new career. And I had to change my life around. And like I told everybody before, ever since I got back into church, got back with the Lord, everything's been falling into the place. Everything's been better. And now I got the time to feel, well, I'm not just exhausted and tired and just feel, stressed out. Now I feel stress-free and I can actually enjoy life. So that's why I said, let's come back to here. And since then, now I ran into Logan, and it's crazy. So, everything's just falling into place, man. I'm telling you, man. This shit's about to go forward with all of us. I'm telling you. And like I told Logan, God's gonna guide him in the right direction. He's gonna get his reporting back. Whether if it's with the buttholes that think you're not good looking, whether if it's somebody like Nick Underhill, Ross Jackson, or what if it's you and me growing this channel and we somehow skyrocket past everybody. The God's gonna guide us in the right direction. I'm telling you, man.
Amen. That's right, OG. Amen. Amen.
That's how I feel. Eugene in the chat said, who that from South Philly? What up, what up? And Jerry G said, amen. Hold on, I didn't even know Jerry was in here because I ain't seen him on the show in forever. I ain't heard Jerry's voice in a minute. But
OG,
yeah, shout out to everybody.
Link,
shout out to everybody that's in here. I'll put the link in the chat again just in case it's disappeared by now. We'll see. Let's see.
Like
we'll put it in there.
The reason y'all see some soft is because of Hoodie, yo. Like I was, oh my God, I was super shy. I was a punk. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm honest. Like I was scared. Like for one of Hoodie streams, I just like fuck it. Excuse my language. I was just like, oh well, I'm gonna just hit that link and show my face and everything. And ever since y'all been seeing Slim lately, yo. Shout out to Hoodie. Hoodie gave me that confidence, and I'm older than him, yo. That's the crazy part.
Because remember this, age is just a number. So people can still learn when they get older. They can still learn from some of the younger generation that might have some stuff. Yeah, I mean, yeah, because some of them you go to jail for it because they thought age is just a number. But you know what I mean? Though it's just but,
yes, I get. Yeah, I know. I like the joke.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, man, I love everybody, and at the end of the day, my boy Slim already knows this. Jerry knows this. Most of the people that's been here since day one understands me. My biggest goal is to have that big channel, like I said, like Nick Underhill, even better than that, like a Pat McAfee, where you just got thousands, millions of people just watching you. Your famous people want you all over the place. They want you to come to NCAA, playoffs games to, do some stuff. That would be dope as heck. But they all know my main goal too is to give back. Everybody knows I give back to people, give back to the community. And my number one thing, I told my parents this a while back. I said, if my channel ever blew up to where your boy's making money, like serious money, I told him, I said, the thing I wanted to do was those beautiful suites that they have in that dome. That's literally on the field. I want to buy them motherfuckers out every season. Not let the businesses do it. Hoodie Jube owns them damn suites every year. And guess what? You can fit 20 people at a time. They feed you unlimited food and drinks, right? And you can fit 20 people. If they got 3 or 4 of those suites, that's 80-something people. Let's say up to 100 people that I can bring from my channel or from my fans and let them experience something that they might never be able to. And that's something that I want to do one day. And I just got to get there. But that's my goal. And that's why I do this. And that's why I love it, because I get to meet people like Logan, get to meet people like Slim, get to meet people like Jerry in the chat. Like I said, there's so many people that I met. My boy Slim even remembers, We miss our old boy, remember? You remember? He ain't been on in forever. You remember how I'm talking about? Come on.
Oh.
Come on, you remember. Used to sit in his car, Streamed from his car. I got him a championship belt. Met him in person. C.T.
She dirty?
No. C.T. Crusher.
Oh, Crusher, yeah.
Yeah, I ain't seen him in a while.
Crusher,
You get what I'm
yeah.
saying? I got to meet
Shout
so
out to
many
Crusher,
good
yeah.
people, man. So many good people. It's just like, it's an amazing thing. And not only did we get to meet amazing people, and Logan, you're not going to believe who's in here, and we get to finally talk about what we were talking about earlier. You remember? Corner? LSU corner? LSU corner?
Oh gosh, no, I don't remember. My God.
Okay, so you don't remember we was you don't remember the joke you sent me on Twitter about Alexandra?
Oh yes, okay.
Yeah,
Our
somebody's in
Seahawks.
here. Yeah, the Seahawks. Y'all know who it is, Miss Megan.
I am not staying long, boys.
Megan.
I have drunk 48 cups of triple shot espresso in the last 3.5 days, and all I want to do is sleep. If you're referring to our undrafted free agent,
You're welcome.
I fucking love it.
You remember what you said? You remember what
she
you
was
said yesterday? I'm gonna go steal him. Let me write
She
his
said
name
she was
down.
She said she was gonna make a call, and I'm like, I don't. As soon as
I
was like, oh my goodness.
I love what we did. We got a minus draft from NFL.com. I said I said a B plus to A minus depending on what we do in free eight with the UDFAs. Fucking love what we've done there. Although, excuse me, Seattle, really, you're gonna wait to take two nose tackles in UDFA and not in the actual draft? Okay. But I absolutely love what there were a couple where I've just gone, okay, don't get that yet, but the one I loved was Damian Martinez because my dad's name is Damien, or was Damien. He passed away 8 years ago, so that was the one I really felt like, yeah, there we go. Yeah, I have to be up at 4:30 tomorrow morning, and that's not happening. I can guarantee you I'm going to sleep through 12 alarms tomorrow, but yeah, I'm really, really happy. I bet it could have gone. There are a couple that could have gone. And we passed on to Sanders. Yes.
But Megan, y'all got Milrow, right?
Yes. Now, that was the one. I wasn't exactly surprised we went for him slim. Oh, I could have thought that was one of the ones. And a Roy, I can't say his name. Yeah, that guy. I'm not unhappy with it slim, but it's like, okay. Yeah, like I needed a hard sell on it, and Brandon, who Hoodie knows, sort of sold me, and I'm like, okay. But what my thing with the draft is, I'll love it or hate it, no in betweens, but keep an open mind. Wait for training, wait for rookie camp, wait for training camp, wait for the preseason, then make my decision. Like I said, I love what we did. Could have gone pear-shaped. Sort of mid yesterday, I'd been up for 48 hours already, and it was like, really? Oh, this is what we're doing. Am I putting my hand through my tablet yet? No, I need it for tomorrow. But let's just say the voodoo doll got a bit of a workover. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, the voodoo doll.
If John Schneider was seen in the war room doing this, yeah. But yeah, I liked what we did. I could have, as I said yesterday, I was expecting it to go that way. We didn't get Shador. That was our biggest fear, was we would do, Seahawk things and get Shador, Sanders, or Shiloh. No, I'm good. But
me and Logan's like, this woman here.
No, everyone's entitled to their opinion. It's okay.
Yeah, it's like
it's
like
just-
I'm good. Just give me a minute.
But it's just the craziest thing. After talking about a former Southeastern Lion / LSU Tiger cornerback on the show yesterday, telling Megan all about him and comparing him to Byron Maxwell, and they pick him up as an undrafted free agent. So,
But okay, if you wanted him before we did, why'd you leave him?
we drafted Quincy Riley, and I'm guessing we didn't.
Well, explain that to me though. There were a couple of your picks today. Again, I didn't hate, but it was like you sit there after 2.5 days of being up and just running on adrenaline going, okay, could have been worse, could have been us.
So, I mean, Quincy Riley, I had a feeling at some point they was going to draft him because they brought him in for a top 30 visit. He was the only corner they brought in for a top 30 visit, and he looked like he impressed, and I don't hate it. I mean, is he better than Zion? I mean, no, but I mean,
Well, that's
it's just
the thing.
maybe
Is
my
he better than
bias.
what we've got? Well, he's not any worse. That's sort of was our refrain. Is he? Could it have been better? Yeah. Could it have been worse? Hell yeah. You know what I mean?
Quincy Riley, I think, is a good pick. I mean, I agree with what Dalton Smith said. He could have went in the 3rd round. I had him graded as a 3rd, 4th round
I
guy.
had him mid-third, I think.
Yeah, so
from memory.
we got him in the 4th. So basically, we got him right where he was slated to go. So good
Okay,
pick.
you didn't lose anything.
So I mean, he's probably going to start opposite Kool-Aid McKinstry. So
Okay, I'm sorry. That's the one I'm pissed about. You took Kool-Aid from us, therefore not giving us the coolest name in last year's draft. Okay, yeah, still bitter about that, boys, because we're all looking at him going Kool-Aid. God, did his mother hate him when he was born? Is that a nickname? I don't know, but we'll
So
take it.
That's a nickname. His
Yeah, it's a
actual,
nickname. Yeah,
his,
yeah.
His government name is actually JaQuincy. So
Yeah, right.
Kool-Aid.
Right.
Well, this is what we were saying with some of our free agency picks. Like Key and Peel couldn't make up better names than some of these guys had. Like we were doing Brandon was doing the whole Keel, can't even say it, sorry, Key and Peel skit about the names. Oh, Lordy. Yeah, you see, when these guys reach an age where they can really tell their mother how they feel, they will.
Hey Logan, let me ask you this: Where did you have cornerback from Kansas, Kobe Bryant? Like, where did you had him ranked? Because he went undrafted and actually signed with the Falcons. He went to the Falcons. So
When he got the Falcons, yeah, we were looking at him, Hoodie, but we just thought, no, we're good. We did flirt.
So
I had him in the 4th round.
Yeah, I'm with Slim. I was pleasantly surprised that Kobe Bryant went undrafted. I think his teammate Melo Dotson went undrafted too. So seeing Kobe Bryant get undrafted out of Kansas was just shocking. I had a 4th, 5th round grade on him myself. So
yeah, I think that's where I had him.
Absolutely crazy. So,
but why do you think that was, though?
It could have been a number of things. I don't know how he interviewed. I don't know what his medicals were like. I don't know what any of
Matter of
behind the
fact,
scenes stuff was.
Shout out to you, Logan. They said he ran a 5.1 in his 40 time.
500. I can stand up and walk faster than that.
So
what
that could play a major impact.
Yeah, I was going to say that's.
So if you ran a 5.1 40 as a cornerback, now I don't know how true that is. I have to go back and look at the combine numbers.
Yeah.
But 5.1 as a cornerback. Let me say this: when I was playing semi-professional football, my 40 time was a 5 flat, and if he's slower than me, that's pretty
He's slower
bad.
than you are. Yeah.
So
good point.
as a cornerback, you have. I mean, as a corner, at least between 4.2 and 4.5 has to be your speed. But if you're 5.1, then he might have been injured. That's the only thing I could think.
Yeah.
I mean, when he's playing at Kansas, he's flying all over the field. So something had to be up. I would have to.
Well,
say
that's
maybe
what we
medicals.
thought. We thought injury because we're looking going, why is he still there? And we were thinking, yeah, 40 time or, didn't interview well, injured. But I'm trying to think. I think I had him mid fourth, early fifth at the absolute latest, and I wasn't comfortable putting him there because I thought he would have gone higher. But yeah, I think mid fourth, early fifth. I think I don't honestly remember.
It was absolutely surprising. Really, really surprised. I mean, there was a lot of people that went undrafted that I was pleasantly surprised about. I mean,
yeah, same. Yeah, there were a lot of head shakers with picks taken, though, as well, us being the prime example with, although Torrey Horton, God bless you, John Schneider, that's the one I'm looking forward to.
that's actually a good, I mean, big body receiver, Colorado State. I really like him. I mean,
well,
I
considering
actually want on the Saints. So.
Considering we have to replace DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, I envisioned him, and boys, correct me if I'm wrong, as a Tyler Lockett across the shoulders, like that big, which is why I think we went for him. You know what I mean, like the square.
Yes, I understand the body type. I get it.
Yeah, I think that's why we would have aimed for him. And did I see it? Tell me I didn't see an Arizona Cardinal on your top, Logan.
Oh no! So what you're seeing is this is the semi-professional football team that I played for.
Okay, that had me worried because the Arizona Cardinals are my brother's favorite team, and I went to Seattle to see them get beaten. So you had me concerned that we're still friends.
I still wear my old apparel. I've been retired for 4 years now, but I still wear the apparel.
You gave me heart value,
because I paid for it. I'm gonna wear it.
I'm wearing Queen and Adam Lambert, so yeah. Sorry, Hoodie, I'm talking too much.
You good? Talk away.
You good, Megan? You good, Megan?
But yeah, overall, I had a sort of solid A minus, I think, which was the consensus. We got an A plus on NFL.com, who notoriously hate us with a passion. So, and that I believe it's a passion to match the fiery depths of hell to give it its full.
I'll give us a B plus. I'll say give the Saints. I'm gonna give us a B plus, and I'll say it could go up from a B plus to an A minus if they would have took Tyler Sher or Shedeur them, later on and pick the best available player.
That's what I wanted to ask you, Hoodie. Given that everyone seemed to pass on Shedeur, I can't even say stuff, Mr. Sanders or the Colonel, as we were calling him, because we were all getting way too hungry and way too crazy.
Mr. Sanders.
The Colonel. To you, Mr. Slim. Why were you so high on Sanders? Sell that to me, given, why did you think he was the fit that you needed for the Saints? Oh, excuse me. Am I boring you?
No.
Why did you think Sanders would have been the Colonel? He shall be the Colonel. Slim. Do not fuck me on this.
The reason why I pick him and I liked him was there's a few things. Number one, if he needed to get out the pocket, he can create it. He can scramble if you need him to. He can draw on the run. He can make any draw you need him to. And like Logan said the other day, he is the most accurate college football player of all time. So that's the number one thing that he said yesterday. You just can't teach that. And not only did I like about that, a lot of people hate him because of his arrogance, his confidence in himself. But at the same time, you want somebody that's got swagger. And you think, because some people say arrogance, but I think it's more swagger. He just feels so confident. You got to have confidence in yourself. You got to feel like you got stuff,
but you've got. I would say to that also, Hoodie. I don't mind the arrogance if you back it up. If you are a piece of shit, as Shedeur reportedly, and I'm only going on what I've heard, what I've read. If you're a piece of shit to people, like a water boy's coming up to take the ball off you and you'd push him away, that doesn't sit with me.
Yeah.
But if you had the ego, the ego. I don't want a player to have an ego that walks in 5 hours before the rest of them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and this is what I would say about him. I think he backed it up, because this thing, how did you become the best, the best complete percentage quarterback in college history with one of the worst offensive line in college. That was allowing pass
Yeah.
rush so much, like to stay accurate while being under
Yeah.
pressure. When people are under pressure, most of the time, you're not gonna have a good percentage because you're throwing it away, you're throwing it towards the ground. You're not gonna be
I
good. But he
get
was
that,
completing
but
stuff.
like talent on field is brilliant, yes, and I agree with what you're saying. But to me, the old cliche, "There's no iron team."
Yeah.
That's where I come from with
Now
it.
the one thing I would say though, he has the ego, he has the confidence and all that. He backed it up though, and the other thing was he wasn't the ego of a Johnny Manziel that's doing all this dumb shit and couldn't play in the
Yeah.
league. He supported his teammates. He loved his teammates. Everybody loved him. Like he actually cared and he did good. And the only other reason why I said I would love him as my quarterback is because of one reason. Who's his dad? Deion Sanders,
Yeah,
a Hall of
Deion.
Famer.
Coach
So guess what
Prime.
Deion's gonna do?
Yeah.
Deion is gonna make sure that he becomes one of the best quarterback, and he's gonna be on his ass to make sure he's doing what he needs to do to become a Hall of Famer. And that's why I
Randy-
feel good.
Right.
Randy, it's not a false narrative when it's been reported, and teammates and the water boy in question have
Yeah,
all
Randy.
said the same. I'm going on what yes, false narrative should not be pushed, Randy. I agree with that. But when people around see it, the water boy himself sees it and comments on it. How am I pushing a narrative when the what's the word? The evidence
Yeah.
for whatever word is
He's
there.
not talking about you.
No, I realize
He talking
that.
about the people themselves was pushing so much negative on him. Like
Yeah,
me and
I
Logan,
know, that's true.
me and Logan talked about it yesterday, and me and him came to a conclusion. We think that he would have got drafted in the first, or if he did fall out the first to the second, but the NFL was just trying to make a statement to people to say,
could
don't
be
come in
too,
here with
yeah.
this type of
That's
shit.
a good
And
point.
they probably told him, like, hey, one of y'all can eventually draft him in the fifth. But I think teams were passing up on him on purpose because they were trying to make a statement. That's what it was. It was all these false narratives.
yeah,
You can
good
hate him
point.
because Mr. Dion primetime, his dad had the swagger and the shit and his stuff. But look,
good
his
point.
dad was the same way. But look where his dad's at, a Hall of Famer. And you're gonna be mad because
You think Shador, Shador
Right.
is Dion? I heard him described as Dion light, meaning this, like in the mold of, but not quite where Dion was. What do you think? I don't know. I don't know enough about Dion, if I'm being 100% honest.
So I can honestly say this: I was born in '96. I didn't get to see Dion play in his prime. I only got to really see him when he played later for the Washington Redskins, and when he came out of retirement to play for the Baltimore Ravens. That's the Dion Sanders. That
Yeah,
I
that's
knew.
the Dion I know from Baltimore. Yes.
So, other than that, but I mean, being the nerd that I am with football and doing all my research, I mean, Shador doesn't have the same amount of cachet or cockiness that Dion did. I mean, there's videos of Dion trying to shake Jerry Rice's hand in the middle of them lining up against each other. But I mean, the thing with Shador is I compare it to this. Everyone loved Baker Mayfield coming out of college, and he was not really the same type of cockiness, but it's similar in a way that Baker Mayfield did. I mean,
Good point. Yeah.
came out as Heisman Trophy winner, went to Cleveland. I mean, because he was definitely cocky and confident, but I don't see why people don't really give Baker the same amount of flack now. Is Baker a horrible quarterback? Absolutely not. The way he's resurrected his career in Tampa, kudos to him. I just hate that it's with Tampa in our division, but
yeah. Oh, the one
Hey,
thing,
I'm quite happy it's in Tampa
one
in
thing-
your division. It's
Hey,
not mine. I'm good.
the one thing I would say about Shador though, if anybody wanted to run them false narrative about him not being a teammate and not being this and that, you want me to tell you how good of a leader he was because I've been hearing it so much about it too. Remember I just told y'all he had one of the worst offensive lines in the world? Did you know he didn't get up one time and look down and say, y'all are terrible? He just gets up, and he even picked up some of his offensive linemen and just picked them up off the ground and said, hey, come on, let's get up, let's keep going. He never fussed and complained about his O-line because he knew at the end of the day he was a good leader and he loved his teammates and he wasn't going to call some bullshit out. Just think of Derek Carr, a veteran in the league, calling his own teammates out. You didn't see him complain about having the worst offensive line in college, not making one complaint. He just kept getting up and kept playing the game of football, and he kept saying, you know what, I'm going to be me. I'm going to do whatever I got to do to be the best person that I can. And guess what?
I'm
Best
just
accuracy
interested.
in college football.
I'm just interested because I heard you guys say that you would have taken him.
I
would have taken him. I mean,
I personally wouldn't have, but I'm interested. I know how I feel about him, but I'm interested always to get the other side to people who like him. Okay, I'm not fond of him, but okay, you would have taken him. You see it that way.
Another thing I can say is this might have been like, the NFL's way of trying to tell these college football players that's coming out, because I mean, college football has definitely changed from what it was just years ago, since NIL has opened up Pandora's box.
Good point, Randy. Sorry, Logan. Yeah, if Brady's saying he's all right, yeah, good point, Randy. I think.
I agree. I mean,
sorry, Logan.
No, you're fine. This could have been the NFL's way of saying, do not come to the NFL feeling entitled just because
you're that's what
millions
we
of dollars in college. But I mean, it could be a factor, and people might say it's because of Deion, but the way I'm seeing a trend in college football, everyone's going the Deion Sanders route with their coaches. I mean, Eddie George is a head coach. Michael Vick is a head coach. Deshaun Jackson is a head coach now in college. I mean, they're all hating on Deion, but everyone's following in college football, trying to follow a Deion Sanders mold with these former NFL players without having like much experience coach. I mean, I don't remember only coaching experience I remember Michael Vick having is in the AAF that folded after 10 weeks in 2019, and Deshaun Jackson, to my knowledge, has never coached a team in his life, so that's the
how
trend.
much of it though, Logan, do you think? I take your point about making an example. How much of it do you think is these young kids coming out with these huge NIL contracts, thinking, because I was in college at USC or Bama or Ohio State, wherever, Oregon, wherever, and I got the big coin, I am hotter than... I was going to say something.
No, I get it. I mean, it could
that plays a role in it, I would say. I say that plays
I
a
would
role.
say it has to. As you said, that entitlement, I just got $10 million. Like, what kid at age 18 to 21 with a few million in their hand, I'm not going to think they're hotter than...
Yeah, I mean,
whatever. I'm trying to think of a nice way to say that, and I can't say whatever.
I get what you're saying. I mean, it could be... If they was going to make an example of anybody, they made one out of Shedeur definitely during this draft process, and I hate that it had to be him. Because, I mean, the landscape of college football has changed. I mean, we've seen it with the quarterback that just transferred out of Tennessee recently. I mean, Nico, I can't pronounce his last name.
Yeah, I know who you mean, yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know if that's the reason why they was making an example out of Shedeur. I personally feel maybe it was a personal vendetta against... Deion, unfortunately.
Yeah.
His agent technically was Deion, and that probably was a downside to that. But I mean, I personally think, and the one thing I can say about him going to Cleveland, from what I heard, Bill Musgrave is one of the coaches on the staff there in Cleveland, and Bill Musgrave and Deion Sanders were teammates together on the Cowboys back in the 90s. So I really think he's going to do well. I really think he's going to be the quarterback one for Cleveland, at least by the middle of the season.
Oh, you don't think they're going to ease him in? You think they'll...
I mean, they're going to probably ease him in. I think, by the middle of the season, you'll probably see him get thrown in there.
Yeah, head first, yeah.
I don't think Joe Flacco and Deshaun Watson is going to get a
No, Watson's on the way. Watson's going to go... the southbound Watson is going to go northbound.
And, I mean, Joe Flacco's probably heading to the retirement line, and then Kenny Pickett.
Flacco to retire? Nah, I don't think that.
I mean, Flacco's 41. I mean, if he doesn't retire,
Oh,
then,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I thought he was just turning 40, but yeah, no, you're right. He is
so I mean,
41.
I think Shadeur is going to probably be taking the reins at the quarterback one spot, at least by the middle of the season. I'd be surprised if he doesn't. So.
Hey, the one thing I would say though, because I did have some people at work arguing with me about it, about the Sadur situation and all that, and they're like, oh well, he didn't want to draw at the combine and pro day and stuff, they want to do this and that, and I'm like, look, at the end of the freaking day, it don't matter if he doesn't want to draw at his pro day or he doesn't want to draw at the combine because Cam Ward did it. They got other quarterbacks, they got other players that like. Malik Neighbors the other year didn't have to. Jamar Chase didn't have to. Justin Jefferson didn't have to if he didn't want to. They had people that know that they good enough and that, hey, I'm good. But I think that they were just trying to get a point across because everybody does that every year where they're not going to do the combine or not because they said, I'm going to be a top 5 pick. I know I'm going to be that guy.
Yeah,
and that's what he did. He couldn't.
But then we saw, my counterpoint to that is, unless you're a Josh Allen type who knows you're going to go top 10, if not top 3, how do you guarantee that you're going to? Shador being the case in point, because he was going top 5, he was going top 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Where did he drop to? 140 something, I think it was. Like, so these kids that say, no, we're not going to do the combine, I don't need to. Are they doing themselves a disservice?
Some of them are, I say some more. Some of them are, but I mean, at the same time, people can say, well, did Sanders, like unless you're a Josh Allen, you're going top 5. This dude knew in his heart he can be a top 5 because he proved it. I'm the number 1 most accurate college football quarterback ever. That should tell you right there I could easily be a top 5 quarterback for you. A top 5 pick.
Yeah. But what I'm asking, Hoodie, is, okay, Shador, for example, didn't want to go to the pro day, didn't want to go to the combine because he was sure he was going top 10, top 5, whatever. Then he slides that much. What I'm asking is, his choice not to go, how, that can't help. If I'm a scout for the Seahawks going, oh, Sanders, we kind of like him, but we need more information. Like, if the information is not there because he chose not to go, his choice, granted, you couldn't hold a gun at his head and say, you got to go. Like, how, that can't help a prospects, I guess. I'm not sure that made sense, but...
Yeah. It just shows that you got confidence in yourself, and that at the end of the day, you don't have to. I don't have to show you because just go look at my film, and I'll show you. And look at my record, I'll show you.
There's film. Yeah,
that's all it is. But like I said, there's got some people who do the combine because they know that I can be a top 5 quarterback, but in everybody's eyes, they saying I'm a top. Maybe a second round pick, but I'm gonna go to the combine and show you because just like some people thought years ago. Oh, look at Josh Rosen. He needs to be that guy. And look at him. He's nowhere to be found. He would.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So some people got to go to the combine and do it. But Sanders, being a guy, he's confident in himself. And with the way he made his, like I said, the number 1 most accurate college quarterback in college history, having all that on your resume, and having the last name Sanders, He knew. He said, I'm going to be a top 5 pick. I don't need to show you at the combine. If you don't believe me, go look at my film and see and take no chance. And then I think with all of that happening and with the confidence and all that, the NFL is always going to try to draw some narrative and negative shit out. Because just think, Logan, you remember they almost tried to draw off freaking T-Mac, remember, at first. And they thought he was going to fall to like the 2nd or 3rd round because, he don't know how to read plays.
No,
and
he doesn't watch film.
Watch film and shit.
Overall.
But he went 8th overall to the Panthers. So they were trying to draw the narrative.
No, good point. I've often wondered because I know the combine is not compulsory to attend, and I don't think the bowl games. Correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen. They're invite, but you don't have to attend the bowl games.
Yeah, so you could be invited to the Senior Bowl and the Shrine Bowl, but you don't have.
You don't have to go.
I mean, Shadeur was invited to both the Senior Bowl and the Shrine Bowl. He declined the Senior Bowl, but he went to the Shrine Bowl. He didn't play, but he was there. mainly to go support his Colorado teammates. They call him at
Yeah,
but he mainly went to go support his Colorado teammates. There was a lot of Colorado players at the Shrine Bowl.
Yeah, I like that, but I'm saying, I guess because I'm very analytically minded, I want to. If I'm a scout or a coach, I want to see as much as I can on these guys and then make my choice. But I've always wondered, like a Shida or Cam Ward, according to Randy, like if they don't give you the information, how can you make the choice? Yes, you can go to film, granted. You can talk to people, granted. But I wear glasses for a reason, fellas. I want to see it with my eyes. And you can only see so much on the film or listen so much and hear what people are saying. Just me, though. I thought Cam Ward did go to the combine, Randy? Randy's saying he didn't.
I don't think Cam Ward only participated in his pro day. That was it. Just
I might be thinking of the pro day. Yeah, I knew it was going to be.
A lot of people these days are kind of going away from the combine for whatever reason and just doing the pro day because you get hurt people would rather
I was going to say you get hurt.
If something happens at a pro day, it's at least on your college campus. If you're way in Indianapolis at the combine and you get hurt, then seen it last year. One of the linemen. It was either last year or the year before. One of the linemen that was probably going to go in the third round ran the 40 and tore his ACL. And
I remember. Yeah,
I think it was Andrew Voorhees from USC got drafted by.
It was Voorhees because
went to the Ravens.
The USC fan in the background there. Yes, it was Voorhees, and as soon as I saw him go down, it was like
anything happened. That's why a lot of people don't really run the 40 anymore because stuff happens.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So if you go, excuse the questions about the combine, fellas, but if you go to the combine, do you have to participate in all the events? Like, no.
No.
So there's sometimes where people will just go there just to run the 40. Some people will just go there just to do the drills and only drills. Some people just go there to do the bench press. You could do whatever you want there. Some people do everything. Some people don't do anything. Some people just go there for
okay. King Nep is in the building. Oh, good Lord. I need to go. Excuse me. Well, I do need to go because I'm falling asleep, but Nep's here. It's already down on the slide because I'm here. Now Nep's here. I'm out. Kidding, Nep. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Shout out to everybody that's watching, by the way. Earlier we went from 80 to 100. Remember earlier? Now we up to 140 people watching from both Twitter and YouTube. So shout out to everybody that's tuning on and
it's not because I'm here.
Yeah, it is because you're here.
It's because Slim's here. I
think she hopped on. When you hopped on, we was at like 90 something, and now we at 140. Must be because of Megan. Must be Seahawks.
It's because I'm talking rubbish. It's because I'm talking rubbish as usual, and people actually want to listen.
Yeah.
Man, where that bear? Where's the bear? Like,
he's sitting here behaving himself because he's had more coffee than me and was bouncing like Tigger on crack this morning. Would you? He's there. He was just sitting watching. Would you? And you, hey, listen. You know you've made it when Mr. Slim is asking after you, sir.
Oh.
Hey, Randy. Hey,
Logan.
Let's By the way, sorry to cut you off. Let's talk to about this guy because Randy just put it in the chat. He said, "I love the running back," and that we needed that when we picked them up. So, what you think about Devin Neal again for some people who might be just tuning in?
So earlier in the show, I was on Twitter. I said we needed a running back. I said I want Raheem Sanders or Devin Neal. I can't remember the third one. Oh, I said Cam Scatterboo. So
we wanted Scatterboo too. How did that work out for both of us?
So you pick Devin Neal, and I had him on my board. I had him graded as a third, fourth round pick, and you get him in the 6th round. That's an absolute steal. And people call me crazy for my pro comp, but I mean, when I watch film, he reminds me so much of Jamal Charles. Now he might be a little bit bigger than Jamal Charles, but I mean,
interesting. Okay.
That pick right there. I mean, in my opinion, on paper and as it stands after even picking up the undrafted free agent, if it were up to me and things worked out, the 3 running backs on the team would be Alvin Kamara, Devin Neal, and the undrafted free agent Marcus Yarns that we just picked up from Delaware. So, I mean, as much as I love Clyde Edwards-Helaire,
I love Clyde.
that would be my 3 running backs going in.
Why not Clyde?
Now, because I don't know if you carry 4 running backs. I mean, I love Clyde to death. I loved him at LSU. I loved him with the Chiefs. I mean, if you have Devin Neal and you also have Marcus Yarns, I mean, and you also have Alvin Kamara, I don't see where Clyde fits. I mean, now he could maybe be on the practice squad. I would rather him on the practice squad than Jordan Mims, but
good fan.
But as far as Devin Neal goes, he was just incredible. The one game that made me pencil him in and put him on my draft board was the Colorado versus Kansas game when they was playing at Arrowhead, going head to head. It was basically Shador versus Devin Neal. Every time Colorado would score, Devin Neal would score. So, but I mean, I love Devin. I think Devin Neal's going to definitely push even Kendra Miller down the depth chart even more. So, but yeah, like I said, people call me crazy for the comp, but if Devin Neal is Jamal Charles,
I think that's a great comp. I would never
if Devin Neal is Jamal Charles, then we got a good one.
Jamal Charles for a comp. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, listen, fellas. I wish I could stay up, but my eyes are dropping, and I've almost headbutted my desk 7 times. So don't laugh. It's actually true. Give myself a concussion.
We're not laughing at all.
Oh, yeah, you're not laughing. Okay, you're chortling at my expense then. Snorting in my general direction. Well, if I don't snort, Slim will, and Slim just gets me giggling already. Just when he puts his head down, I know it's over. All right, guys, I'm going to drop because it's 4 p.m. and I think if I go to bed now, I'll sleep right through. But...
Love you, Megan.
Well, have a good night, Megan.
All right.
Love you, Megan.
Go Seahawks.
Who dat?
Who dat?
Love you, Megan.
But
I mean,
yeah.
Since I mentioned it, and I see Randy talking about in the comments, Marcus Yarns. I mean, so now that I can go into detail about him. First talked about it. I first took notice of him at the Senior Bowl, and I'm like, okay, let me go do my research. And this guy can fly. I mean, I started watching film on him, and on my draft guide, I literally have it says taller Darren Sproles / Marlon Mack. One thing about Marcus Yarns is he's a receiving back. He's not going to get you. He's not going to get you 1,000, but it's one thing that this team can need. I mean, Alvin Kamara can't be the only running back that can catch a pass, and with Marcus Yarns, you would have one that can both run and catch, and I think he can probably be a good return man too if you ask him to. So. I'm really high on that. He might be an undrafted free agent running back, but I mean, it's worked out for us quite well before. So I like both the running backs we got.
Randy said my pro comp for Devin Neal is Tajay Spears.
That might be. So everyone has a ceiling and a floor. I mean, for me, his ceiling is Jamal Charles. Does he reach that? Don't know. If his floor is Tajay Spears, I'm okay with that. I was a big Tajay Spears fan. I wanted Tajay Spears or Kendra Miller, but maybe that was probably just him being at Tulane. And I actually got to meet him in person once too when I worked at the television station years ago. Really nice guy, but if that's his floor, then I'm okay with it. And nobody picked up Isaiah Bond due to legality issues. I'll just leave it that there's. I don't want to throw the R word out there, but there's charges out there against him, and that's why he did not get drafted.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Or he's not getting picked up. He's not going to get picked up until he gets cleared.
Yeah. What do you think about this, though? What do you think about the receiver from Miami that went undrafted and went and signed with the Titans to go play with his boy Cam Ward?
That's absolutely fascinating to me because Xavier Restrepo should have gone at least in the 4th, 5th, 6th round. The fact that he did not get drafted is absolutely crazy. I mean, he absolutely killed it at the U. I mean, he caught everything. I mean, I've seen him catching traffic. I've seen him get absolutely crushed by two defenders catching it in the back of the end zone from. Got the chemistry with his quarterback in Tennessee, so I think that's going to work out quite well. And it's shocking all these people that went undrafted that should have been drafted, but there's only 7 rounds. If there was 10 rounds, they probably all would have been drafted. But
What about your
it's
boy?
surprising.
What about your boy that you wanted us to get the receiver? I think his name was something Rose. Did he ever get drafted or no?
Jalen Rolls, and it's like the dang Avengers. The Kansas City Chiefs picked up Jalen Rolls. I think in the 4th round. It's unbelievable. But
damn,
I really like Jalen Rolls. Like I said, my count for him was Mike Wallace, and it's like the Chiefs get everybody. Just like I'm mad at the Eagles for getting all the great defensive players, because I mean, their defensive coordinator. Yeah, they got Campbell. They got Shmuel Mondin from Georgia. They got 2 tackling machines. It's just like their linebacking core is going to be absolutely fantastic. And Bond's going to be involved in that. And you also got one of the top 3 defensive minds as your defensive coordinator in Vic Fangio over there, who I wish would have just came back to New Orleans at some point whenever he was available. But it's crazy. So Jalen Rolls going to the Chiefs. Unbelievable. So it's.
What you think about Cam Scatterboo going to the Giants? You think him and Tracy's gonna be a good 1-2 punch?
I don't know if it's going to be a 1-2 punch. I think Tracy will get his carries, but I think you're going to see the Giants use Cam Scatterboo as their workhorse back and maybe use him like you've seen the Giants in 2007 use Brandon Jacobs, because that's the kind of back he kind of is. He might not be, 270 pounds like Brandon Jacobs was pushing, but, I mean, Cam Scatterboo, he's going to be their workhorse, I'll say that. And it's going to be Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterboo leading that offense with Malik Neighbors. And it's looking a little bit bright in the Big Apple for the Giants. Now, if that's their 3 star offensive players, it looks like they're turning the page finally, maybe. Now, is Brian Dable going to be the guy? I don't know. But I'd like Tyrone Tracy, but I think you're going to see more like, 80-20 carries. Like, 80% of the carries go to Scatterboo and then 20% go to Tyrone.
It's gonna be very, very interesting, because I did like that. I did like Cam, and we wound up missing on him too because we wanted to pick some other picks that I don't think we really should have. But it's okay. Maybe the Saints didn't see as much value they did because they said, okay, my boy Neil's gonna fall to us in the 6th round, so let's get him. So at the end of the day, I'm just ready to see what's gonna happen between all these people. That's gonna be my favorite thing, is actually see these young guys play and see if they perform like they did in college.
That's the same comps I had, Dalton. I literally said Peyton Hillis and Mike Austin. I literally said that, so I
said the same thing.
I said the same identical thing.
Damn. But before we get off, because we've been live for over 2.5 hours, which is crazy. Like I said, Logan, you don't understand. You don't realize how long you've been here because you're just having fun, and then you look at the clock like, oh shit. But that's how it is on the Hooded Jew podcast. But the one thing I do want to say before we all go out of here, I'm okay with the draft. B+. Could have been an A- if it wasn't for the stupid waste of a pick on the 2nd pick for Tyler Show. It is what it is. So I'm gonna say a B+. And also I wanted to say this big thing, and it's just a thing I want to try to start doing before I get off the podcast. Your boy's back in full-time mode. And also I just want to say I guess you could say a prayer / safe thing. Recently, the draft just ended today. There was a guy that wasn't able to come to the draft because he took his own life, Kyron Lacey. So rest in peace to him. We know you took somebody else's life, which was wrong because you was drunk driving, and you took the old man's life. You didn't mean to, but you did it because you did the wrong thing. You was drunk. and then everybody was on your butt about it, threatening you, you know, this and that, and with the pressure and all that, it was just too hard, and you took your life. So all I'm gonna say is, at the end of the day, rest in peace to him, and everybody. If you're dealing with any type of, you know, anything, any pressure, you have any anxiety, you know, depression, whatever the case may be, please just reach out to somebody, just anybody. If you got to reach out to me on social media or whatever, talk to us. Um, don't sit alone, because nobody fights alone. You know, you don't need to be fighting those demons and those, you know, depression and all that alone. So, like I said, just reach out to somebody. Your life is important. You know, you're meant to be here. And at the end of the day, if you feel like you're down a dark path and you got no light at the end of the tunnel, and you feel like you need help, I'm just wanting to tell you that from the bottom of my heart, go to church, go get connected with the Lord. I'm telling you, because I felt those days sometimes, and ever since I reconnected, I feel so much better. And a lot of people can just go in and just be like, damn, why I had a bad day. I wrote like, why is it me that's having this bad day? But just think about it. It might be bad at the moment, but it's not as bad as you think it is, because at the end of the damn day, you got to wake up. You got to live another day, while other people are not waking up. They're not up. You know, they're not allowed to wake up. So guess what? This is my favorite line I like to tell people. If you get to wake up, guess what that means? God's got a purpose for you. And guess what? That means you got to go find your purpose out there and find out why you're here, and go live it and do your, you know, job. And that's what your purpose are. And like I've been telling my people for years, I think my purpose on this earth is to make people smile, to be there for people, because I'm a kind-hearted person. And I'm here just to entertain and be there for people, you know, who needs it. So that's why I always talk to people. I get along with people easily. I guess that's why I did good as a server. That's why I'm doing good as a car salesman. That's why my YouTube channel is good. It's just because I'm just a people person, you know, and I can just connect with anybody. So at the end of the day, that's why I just wanted to leave a message before we went off. It's just, please don't take your own life. If you're going through a dark time, reach out. And at the end of the day, the Lord's got you. He loves you. And if you feel like you can't find no light, go to Him, because at the end of the day, at least you got to wake up and you're still here. So make the best of it. That's all I can say. So
All the time. All the time.
yes, sir. So that's all I can say. So thank you everybody that came and watched it. We got over 140 of y'all watching. So shout out to y'all for watching. If y'all want to hit that subscribe button for your boy, you can. Hit the follow button, hit the like button on the way out. We always going to be on here. Logan's going to probably be a full-timer eventually. You know, I'm going to try to talk him into it, but it doesn't really have to, because anytime I go live, it's like, hey, come live. He'll be on anyway. So shout out to him. Shout out to my guy Slim. Shout out to Miss Megan, who came on as well. And shout out to everybody in the chat, you know, just chatting in there, you know, Randy, Dalton, you know, Trav 504. Shout out to all of y'all that's still in here watching. And shout out to everybody that just stuck with me, because you got to realize, when some people are not, you know, the most consistent, and, you know, you kind of fall off the cliff a little bit. It's kind of like what Kevin Gates and Rod Wave said in their song called Cuban Links. You know, Kevin Gates basically said it the best. He said, you're on top, you fall off, you find out who really loves you. You're on top, you fall off, because I fall off for 5 months trying to find a better thing in my life and get back on track. And you find out who really loves you, because the next day the day I came live with Logan on a Friday night, randomly, from being gone for 5 months, we still had 30 people watch. So all those 30 people that did that, shout out to y'all. Because like I said, y'all didn't have to follow me. Didn't have to. Shout out to Pammy Whammy and them, because we got like a few people that are still literally supporters of the channel. They are members of the channels. Still, even though I wasn't there for 5 months, they were still paying a membership just because they supported me and my channel. So shout out to everybody, y'all. Truly love y'all.
One quick thing I want to answer Randy. Randy, that's actually not a poster. That's actually a real vinyl I got framed up of the Sam and Dave.
So what is it?
Actually, he's talking about my Sam and Dave vinyl that I got framed.
Oh,
I got it framed
That Sam Dave
because
poster.
yeah. So I collect vinyl, and I actually bought that because y'all see the Twitter name. That's where I got the name from. Is Sam and Dave right there from the song.
Soul Man. But shout out to everybody. Thank y'all again for watching. We should be back live soon again, you know. But the draft is over. Now we know what we have. Now we see what we do with free agency, because that's going to be the next thing that we're going to have to talk about next time we go live. It's because, what are we doing at receiver? We didn't draft one. We didn't sign an undrafted free agent one. And, of course, Olave keeps having concussions. He's turning into the next Tua. You got Sahi coming off an injury. You got a old aging veteran in Brandon Cooks. So what are the Saints going to do at receiver? A lot of people are hyping it up. It's probably going to be a veteran, and there's only one veteran out there that I really like that's a big name that could help, especially a bigger body guy, and that's maybe Keenan Allen. So that's why we're going to get into that on the next episode. So make sure y'all tune in to that. So like I said, follow on Twitter or hit the sub if you're on YouTube. Smack the damn like button. And like we always tell everybody, y'all, we tell everybody, who what? Who what?
Who that, baby?
Who that, baby? We are out of here.
Run it up, Finero. Say what they lie. Say what they lie. Say what they lie. Say what they lie. We came in black and gold. We came in black and gold. We came in black and gold. We going to the bowl. We screaming black and gold. We screaming black and gold. We screaming black and gold. I lie. Saints going to the Super Bowl, talking black and gold. Young Nolan Hooded Jew wanna beat me like you know. Chris Olave, MT down the field.